Yeah. Talk to me, Lord. If you brought me to it, you walk me through it. Amen. Trying to whisper, fear on my left, doubt on my right. Still I listen. Prayer in my lungs like oxygen. Breathe. Every step I take got heaven in it. Faith in my chest like armor plated. Damn what y'all split me, but I stay rooted. Fire in my bones can't cool me down. When I call his name, hell back up now.
Through the valley I walk unafraid. Heart full of faith, never let it stray.
Never.
Lord, get right when I say your name.
Jesus.
Lord, you my trouble, my shield, my hope.
Guys hit the floor when I lift my hands. Flake, brace, pull me up like a rubber band. Old life buried, new man activated. I went through the fire, but came out renovated. Tested by heat, but I ain't burned. Every scar got a lesson learned. If it kept me then, it'll keep me now. Same God back then, he don't switch up. Trials knock, but I don't shake. Bones in the road still won't break my pace. Keep walking. Angels posted on every side. You've God before me, who to slide?
Nobody.
Say, I'm covered.
I'm covered.
I'm guarded.
I'm guarded.
I'm guided.
Got it.
Still standing.
Valley I walk unafraid. Heart full of faith, never let it stray.
Never.
Lord, get right when I say your name.
Through the valley,
I walk
through the valley,
unafraid.
through the valley,
Full of faith,
through the valley.
Lord, get right when I say your name. Lord, you my trouble, my shield, my
He got me, yeah. I'm still here.
what's still here?
Yeah. Talk to me, Lord. If you brought me to it, you walk me through it. Amen. Walk through the valley, shadows trying to whisper. Fear on my left, doubt on my right. Still I listen. Prayer in my lungs like oxygen.
Breathe.
Every step I take got heaven in it. Faith in my chest like armor plated. Damn what y'all split me, but I stay rooted. Fire in my bones can't cool me down. When I call his name, hell back up now.
Through the valley I walk unafraid.
No zeal.
Heart full of faith, never let it stray.
Never.
Lord, get right when I say your name.
Jesus.
Lord, you my trouble, my shield, my hope.
Guys hit the floor when I lift my hands. Flake, brace, pull me up like a rubber band. Old life buried, new man activated. I went through the fire, but came out renovated. Tested by heat, but I ain't burned. Every scar got a lesson learned. If it kept me then, it'll keep me now. Same God back then, he don't switch up. Trials knock, but I don't shake. Bones in the road still won't break my pace. Keep walking. Angels posted on every side. You've God before me, who to slide? Nobody. Say, I'm covered.
I'm covered.
I'm guarded.
I'm guarded.
I'm guided.
Got it.
Still standing.
Valley I walk unafraid. Heart full of faith, never let it stray.
Never.
Lord, get right when I say your name.
Through the valley,
I walk
through the valley,
unafraid.
through the valley,
Full of faith,
through the valley.
Lord,
getting back. He's getting back. Woo! How y'all like that new banger? How y'all like that new banger? How y'all like that new banger through the valley? How y'all like that? The boy feeling a little better. How y'all like that new banger? W12 in the chat if you like that new banger. Coming to Renew Gospel soon. Coming to Renew Gospel soon. I told y'all gonna get the exclusive right here first. You gonna get it on Money Man you already know first. So you need to like, subscribe, and share, and tell your friend about the Money Man you already know. I'm telling you right now. Here we go. They starting on time. Okay.
Have the 8th youngest defense in terms of experience, a group that's very complete at all 3 levels and that we feel really good about. On the offensive side of the ball, we looked and we felt like we had a number of young, pillar cornerstone pieces, but we envision a world where that side of the ball is going to have pretty significant turnover over the next several months. And then from a resource standpoint, we looked at the team and said, we're flush with, draft resources entering this offseason, as well as the appropriate amount of flexibility from a financial perspective. So as we looked at everything and we thought about what we needed from, our head coach, particularly in this phase, the first thing we actually looked at is we wanted someone who could lead, develop, and grow a young team. Because quite frankly, we're probably going to be, if not the youngest, one of the youngest teams in football in 2026. The second thing that we wanted, certainly in the short term, was a coach, didn't matter the background, that had a very strong and adaptable offensive plan, given the amount of turnover we're going to have on that side of the ball, both in terms of personnel, scheme, you name it. In addition to that very specific problem, we were looking at individuals that had 4 key attributes. The first is something that we categorize as global intelligence. So that's not just cognitive ability or IQ, that's EQ and football acumen as well. The second is something that we term CEO leadership. So that's someone who has the ability to function at what we would call 30,000 feet, as well as the tactical level at ground level. The third, we wanted someone who had a demonstrated track record of innovation where they've been. And then the fourth, we wanted someone who had the characteristics of collaboration, given the head coaching position touches so many different areas in football operations in the modern day game. So what we did to assess, all of those characteristics with many of the fine coaches we met with, we looked at their performance track record, where they've been throughout all their career, how their units have done. We did a number of reference calls throughout people who had been in direct working relationship with the candidates throughout all stops of their career. We did testing, we did work samples, and we also did the interview. And we combined all of that information to make a good decision about who would serve us best, who would serve the organization best with the problem that we're trying to attack with where our team is currently. And when we did that, Todd stood head and shoulders above the rest. Todd's like really, really, really unique. If you look at his history, his career history, this is a coach who has had high-level, innovative, adaptable offenses at both the pro and college level. Doesn't matter the personnel, didn't matter the quarterbacks, didn't matter what he inherited. He always found a way to have, high-level and productive units. It became very apparent in everybody that we talked to about Todd how strong he was working and developing with young players. I think that's one of the beauties of Todd's experience is he does have pro and college experience as a coach, and that transfers in terms of how he leads and grows young players. The third, the mentors that he's worked for, most recently Kirby Smart and John Harbaugh, arguably the best in the business in pro and college, and the lessons that Todd has learned and applied from those coaches has been outstanding. And then the last thing is he understands the job. I mean, the work that he did at Southern Miss, inheriting a program at its historical nadir, turning it around with few resources, shows he has like the leadership, the gumption, and the resourcefulness to do this job at any level. So for us, we felt like he fit us like a glove. And we are so excited to have him and his family in Cleveland. I guess I should say back to Cleveland, Todd. But we're really stoked to have him. And so without further ado, Todd Monken.
Wow. Man, am I excited to lead this flagship, franchise, NFL franchise. I mean, it's been a long time coming. Really has been a long journey. And there's a lot of people as we get down the road here that I'm going to have to thank, but I'm jacked. I mean, I'm excited to be with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, it really, it's hard to even put into words. First off, I want to thank Dee and Jimmy, Whitney and JW for entrusting me in this opportunity to help build a winning team with the NFL's most passionate and dedicated fan base, including the Dog Pound. Secondly, I want to thank Andrew. Pointed that way, but you're right there. I want to thank Andrew Berry. Crazy enough, in 2019, when I interviewed here, my contact was Andrew, and actually was the first gentleman that I met with when I came in the building. And I could tell right away that our alignment and his clear vision for how you build a roster and how you develop players, we were aligned. And I look forward to being connected at the hip and building this roster to a championship level, consistent championship level. He mentioned the last few years, getting an opportunity to work with Kirby Smart and John Harbaugh, two of the elites in the game. When you talk about getting a doctorate in coaching, wow. I owe a lot to them. They entrusted me to elevate the offenses at both places, which is a credit to the staff we had and the players we had, because you can't do it alone. You absolutely cannot do this alone. It takes an army, and I owe a lot of gratitude to them. The one thing I learned being with both of them, I always thought I understood what it meant to confront anything that gets in the way of winning football. And what's interesting is they get to the same point. They just do it completely differently. But it's an art, because ultimately, just like I would have with my son, just like our children, you're going to confront anything that gets in the way of helping them become the best version of them. And that's your job with something that you love. And that's something I've never taken for granted with any job I've ever had, is fighting to confront anything that gets in the way of winning football. And I owe a lot to Coach Harbaugh. He hired me out of Georgia, took a shot on a college coordinator, trying to elevate Lamar in the offense. And I learned a ton. He is elite at messaging with a team, especially with an NFL team, and how you deal with players and how you confront anything that gets in the way of winning without being confrontational. To me, that's an art. That's an art. Thank you, Coach. And then the last thing,
I'm telling you, that man ain't gonna mess it up. Look at him.
shit. Told myself I wasn't going to cry, for God's sakes. I want to thank my mom and dad, no longer with us, my brothers, Tony and Ted. College roommates, drove up here to be here today. My father-in-law, Chuck, my son, Travis, proud of the man you've become, and his fiancee, Hannah. And my wife, Terry, been together 40 years, been married 34. Of course, she would say that's probably 6, because you're actually married to the game. So it's been an unbelievable journey. Thank you. I love you. Before I take any questions, I just want to, there's something that I've kind of always lived by as a position coach, as a coordinator, and I will as a head coach. And Jim and Dee and Jimmy, they cut a check with my name on it. And you know what they expect? A freaking kick-ass football team. That's what they expect. And you know what they want? They want to become a winning franchise that our fan base in our region is proud of. That's all they've been about, is how you build a winning franchise that consistently competes for championships. You know what? My job is to prove it every single day, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And with that, let's go with some questions.
For questions, why don't we raise our hands and introduce yourself, even though you may already know Todd. Reintroduce yourself to him. Mary Kay?
Hi, Todd. Welcome back. Mary Kay Cabot, Cleveland.com, Cleveland Plain Dealer. Well, I guess I'll start right off the bat with the question probably everybody wants to know. Will you head into this offseason with Shedeur Sanders as your QB1? And if not, what is your approach to the whole quarterback situation as you move into your new job?
Well, I think like any position on the team, that's still to be determined. Am I excited about Shedeur? Am I excited about all the quarterbacks in the room? Am I excited to coach this football team? Absolutely. I can't wait for them to get back and for us to get started.
Joe Reedy, Associated Press. Todd, you mentioned in a Harbaugh Coaching Academy video your 2019 stint here. There was a lot of drama that the coaching staff couldn't control. Now that you're the head coach and learning from Kirby and Harbaugh, how do you manage that so that there isn't that drama?
Well, first off, I learned a lot in that 2019 season. I think you learn a lot. In fact, you learn a heck of a lot more when things aren't going well than when it is going well. And I learned a lot of things that I would have done different, and I think collectively would have done different. And I've seen it from a different angle, different point of view. But I'm ready to move forward with this team, the 2026 team.
Chris?
Hey, Todd, Chris Easterling, Akron Beacon Journal. Just want to ask you, as a former quarterback, what is it you're specifically looking for in a quarterback? What is that trait? What are the traits that you feel like are critical for a successful quarterback, regardless of level?
Well, I'm just going to start with personality traits. I mean, when you talk about who's going to lead this team, who has the it factor, who has those characteristics that the team wants to follow and believes in them because the ball's in their hand every down. This game's going to come down to 2-minute situations, 4-minute situations where you've got to be able to execute at a high level. And we're just talking about some of the characteristics that you're looking for, let alone some of the physical traits that we'll get a chance to talk about later.
Let's go Scott, Dan, and then Jimmy.
Hey, Todd, Scott Petrick from the Chronicle Telegram. You said it was a long time coming. When did you first start to think about being an NFL head coach? And did you feel you'd come close before? And then what does it feel like finally now?
Well, first off, I played at Knox College, and my dad were high school coaches, and my uncles were high school coaches. So that was just a dream. But I've been part of a team since I've been 5 years old, the Purple Pounders of Wheaton, Illinois. And it's the coolest thing ever to be part of a team. Let's just put it that way, okay? All I ever wanted to do is be part of a team and coach football. That's all. I mean, other than my mom making an Evel Knievel outfit or an astronaut, I was a football player every Halloween. That's all I ever dressed up as. You name it, that's what I dressed up as. When I was a kid, everybody else was getting trains. They were getting Army men. I was getting football games. My dad, every single the little vibrating football game or talking football or rubber band football, every single game I ever got was about football. So all I ever want to do is coach and be part of a team. To me, it's not until you get into the NFL that you ever process like the opportunity could potentially be there to be a head coach in the NFL. Obviously, you have to probably reach the coordinator level to where that becomes a possibility. And there have been times before where I've been close. And I believe God put you at the right place at the right time. And that is now.
Dan Lobby, Cleveland.com. This kind of goes with Scott's question. Obviously, you've been saying it's a long time coming. Did you at any point think something like this wouldn't happen for you? And does that make this opportunity more meaningful for you? For sure. I mean, I'm not getting any younger. I mean, let's be real honest here. Although I'll say this, that the version you're getting of me now is a hell of a lot better than it would have been 15, 20 years ago. So I'll at least say that. Okay. But you get to the point where this is God's plan, which is fine. To be an offensive coordinator in the NFL or even coach in the NFL, I don't think people really realize
There's 32 NFL teams. There's approximately 68, I don't even know how many more there are, Power 4 jobs. So whatever job we have, be it in the NFL or a Power 4 school, there's only 100 of you in the whole world. That's all there is. Within a 30-mile radius, there might be 100 doctors, 100 attorneys. You talk about a small group, talking about an elite group of men. So sure, there's a time where you think that's not going to happen. But very appreciative for the jobs that I've had and the players that I've been around and the coaches that have helped me get to where I'm at, because you absolutely cannot do it alone.
Let's go Jimmy, then we're gonna go Ashley, then we're gonna go Terry.
Jimmy Watkins, Cleveland.com. Todd, you're known as a straight shooter. That's what they say about you. How do you set that culture of accountability in a way that doesn't turn players off, so to speak?
Great question. Like I said before, I think you have to hold the players accountable for what they say their dreams and aspirations are. And you have to find out what really do you want individually with your career, and then what do you want collectively as a team? And all you're doing is holding them to what their goals and aspirations are, like people did for me. I am who I am because my parents did that for me. They didn't do that to me. They did that for me. And that's the way I go about it, is I think everybody likes honesty till they don't like what's said to them honestly. And I'm the same way. I'm no different. I like being stroked in a good way. I'm no different. I don't like the other side of it, but that's how I've gotten a lot better. And the people that love you the most, they're going to be honest with you. But all it is finding out what are your dreams and aspirations, and then let's fight like hell to achieve them.
Ashley Bastock, Cleveland.com. Just wondering, being in the division, like what your impression as a coordinator was of this defense, and if you've had a chance to talk to Jim or anything yet.
Give me that again, the last part.
If you've had a chance to talk to Jim Schwartz. Or
I have. Okay, so with that, I've had a chance to talk with Jim. But it's been a bitch, I apologize, to go against this defense 6 times over the last 3 years. Schematically, and more importantly, the players, because ultimately it's a player's game. That's what it is. It's our job as coaches to develop systems that allow your players to play fast. People talk about time speed. It's really not about time speed. It's about how they play on the field. And that's developing schemes, in my opinion, or systems, as Coach Harbaugh used to call it, with elegant simplicity, where they can function at a high level and play fast. And that's what you saw all the time with the guys that are here and the players that we have. But at the end of the day, I say this all the time. From an offense or defensive perspective, it starts with having elite players and then having an elite coaching staff with you. And then you can call the game freely because of that, because of the talent you have, and then because of the players, I mean, with the coaches that help it come to life. You know, that's what makes a coordinator elite. It's not one individual person. And when we get ready for the Browns, when we used to get ready for the Browns, excuse me, I mean, it'll be more fun and not have to worry about chipping 95 every down and distance. I can tell you that.
Terry, then Tony, then Mary Kay.
Terry Pluto, Plain Dealer, Cleveland.com. 2 things what you mentioned about the defense there. I'm just curious, where do you stand with Schwartz? Is he coming back, or what do you know so far?
Well, first of all, I think Jim is an outstanding defensive coordinator. I think we all would agree with that, but I think it's a little inappropriate for me to comment about that at this time.
And secondly, when you looked at the Browns from the outside, you just mentioned the defense, but just in general, you've been through some situations where it's been big turnarounds. I know Southern Miss, I think you were 0-12 or whatever the first year, and that. What does it take to get, especially in the NFL, to get a turnaround situation going?
Perseverance, because it's hard. I mean, winning's hard. I mean, it is hard, but the reward is unbelievable. I mean, that's what was fun about the thoughts of being the head coach here. I mean, if you like a challenge, let's go. Let's get this to where we're the standard, and the time is now. The timing is now. It's hard. It's perseverance, mental toughness, surrounding yourself with the right people, staffing, and then player wise that want to run into that smoke. Because not everybody wants to run that smoke. Not everybody wants to look at it like it's 4th and 1 every day. And it is. It's 4th and 1 every day.
Nate, then Mary Kay.
Hey, Todd. Nate Ulrich, Akron Beacon Journal. Clearly, this means so much to you. So when you were at Georgia, you win the national championship back-to-back. You come back in the NFL. Did you come back to the league with the goal to become a head coach? Was that in your thinking?
100%. I called around to coaches in the NFL. I wanted to hear what it was like to be a head coach in the NFL. Because I tried to get a hold of Cliff Kingsbury and I couldn't. He was in like Tahiti or something. So that one, thank God I didn't get him because I might not have left Georgia. I got a hold of 3 or 4 other coaches, Kevin being one of them. And I asked him, do you enjoy being a head coach in the NFL? Do you enjoy everything that comes with it? It's not easy. It isn't. And to a man, all of them said they loved it, be it Matt LaFleur, be it Kevin Stefanski, and others that I reached out to, because it was the only reason for me to leave Georgia. Well, why else would I leave Georgia? We're winning, going to have good players. The culture's already set. So that was one part of it. The other part was the challenge of where we could take the team out east offense and how we could elevate Lamar Jackson. And like I said, I owe a lot to the players that were there and the coaching staff that we put together to help us do that. But ultimately, that was my goal, was to come back, to put yourself in a position to one day sit in this chair, be one of the 32.
Mary Kay, then Tony, then Danny.
Yeah, Todd, on the day that Jim Schwartz supposedly left the building and said he wasn't coming back, Myles Garrett had a reaction to that on Instagram where he showed, someone hanging their head. Denzel Ward has said, I really want Jim Schwartz back here. So my question to you is, I know you can't go into detail about your convo with Jim, but what can you say to these players, or how confident are you that these players are going to like the direction that you're going to be able to go on defense? And will you be able to maintain the incredibly high standards of the defense, even if Jim doesn't come back?
Well, first off, my anticipation is we're not going to change the system. Very difficult to go against. I'm not planning on changing the system. We're built for the system that they're in currently. And I'm not going to get into staffing because that's not at this time to get into that. But they can be rest assured that we're going to keep the same system. We're still going to let them attack. We're still going to let them play free. I can't see any other way. They're a big reason why I took this job. The defensive players. I didn't take this job because of Jim Schwartz. I have a lot of respect for Jim Schwartz, but as I would hope he has for me. But I took it because of the players that are here, the ownership, Andrew Berry, and the ability to build this roster from the ground up on the offensive side. So, and I said this to the other guys. I didn't think I'd say it, but I'm going to say it. When I was preparing for the Cleveland Browns, I wasn't trying to chip Jim Schwartz. I was chipping Myles Garrett. And when I was sliding a protection to the outside backers or Grant Delpit that were blitzing off the edge, I was sliding the protection of the players. And when I was worried about throwing to the right against Denzel Ward or Tyson Campbell to the left, that's who I was worried about throwing at.
Tony?
Todd, Tony Grossi, ESPN Cleveland. Welcome back. We're still here. It's common knowledge now that Baltimore wanted to draft Shedeur. How much did you contribute to that decision at the time with Baltimore? Did you do any personal scouting of him, and what were your thoughts back then?
I think it'd be unfair for me to comment on another organization's process. I think that would just be unfair for me to go in depth of where we were at in the draft Obviously, we had an affection, like a lot of teams, of Shedeur's skill set and what we thought he could become. But I really wouldn't want to go in depth of another team's process.
Daniel?
Hey Todd, Daniel Yafusi, ESPN. A lot has been made about, the flexibility of your scheme and bending it to the talents of your players. But, from a macro view, when people envision a Cleveland Browns offense under Todd Monken, what do you want them to see?
Well, that's a question I get asked all the time. Like, what system do you run? What is that? And the way I'll try to phrase it is to score any way possible. I don't care what it takes to score. It's about scoring points. I would hate to put some sort of any type of connotation as to what system that we are, other than playing to our players' strengths. I think one of the things that our staff, including myself, have been able to do is take advantage of what a player can do and not what they can't do. Every player in the NFL is elite. And they all have a trait, at least one trait, that allows them to, I don't want to say this, allows them to function, play at a high level. You just got to find what that is and not try to put a square peg in a round hole, taking advantage of what they do. And I think that's what we've been able to do consistently.
Cool.
Hey Todd, Justin Cooper, ESPN Cleveland. Hey, after being here in 2019 and the well-documented struggles after the last 2 years of this organization, what makes you confident that you're the guy that could lead this team and turn this franchise around?
Well, it's interesting that you asked that, because in the interview, there was a question that came up about strength as a head coach. And the other was where your gaps as a coach, where you need help, where you can use people to fill in those gaps. And the other was, how would you envision yourself being unsuccessful? That's not even in my vocabulary. It just isn't.
Scott?
Todd, I got two quick ones for you. Are you going to call the plays?
Yes.
And then you mentioned 95 a couple of times. How well did you know Miles in the year you were here, and how have you seen him evolve as a player since then?
Well, probably when I was here for that short period, I would say that I didn't know Miles very well, other than I loved his personality. I loved his charisma. I mean, always a smile on his face. At that time, I thought, holy cow, this guy runs like a wideout. This guy looks like a skilled player. I mean, this guy is, elite. And he's always had it in him, but you can just see the last few years that his evolution in terms of blocking schemes, how teams try to prevent him from getting to the quarterback, which opens up opportunities for others. I think his awareness of what teams are trying to do. I think they've done a great job of moving him around, because that's important. That definitely gets into a coordinator's head in game planning of where he's located. You can see it with every team that plays against Miles.
Let's go Spencer, then Sable, then Kane.
Spencer German, Browns Roundtable and Locked On Browns. I saw there was a clip that you had of talking about coaching Lamar and how, you even felt like there were some things that you could have done better working with him. So I guess I just ask, what did you learn from coaching Lamar for the 3 years you were there? And what were some of the biggest challenges and things that you kind of bring with you now to this job?
Well, first off, I think I didn't get to where I'm at as a human being or a coach without owning and then fighting like hell to fixing. And I think that's important in a relationship. I think that's important in life, is there's a certain amount of, bar graph here, follow me. of that 10%, 15% bitching, complaining, self-preservation mode that we can all get in when things go bad or things are tough, which that's life. That's relationships, that's coaching. But the other 85 to 90% is owning your mistakes because we're human and then fighting like hell to fix them. And that's what I've been about. The moment you get, excuse me, you're about to go. The moment that graph elevates and the other one shrinks, you're not in the place you want to be at. First of all, Lamar and my relationship was awesome. We get along great. We didn't have the success last year for a number of reasons, and it doesn't matter. Fact. You know, he was banged up. I would have loved to have seen it. He'd been healthy the whole year, but he was not. Doesn't matter. We didn't at times didn't give ourselves the best chance to be successful. And you got to own that. That's part of what we do.
Todd, John Sable with Fox 8 here in Cleveland. I covered you for a few years there in Tampa when you were with the Buccaneers. You mentioned how you've grown since your stay here in 2019. How have you changed as a coach in your offensive philosophy since your last one of your first spots there in the NFL in Tampa when you had to develop a Jameis Winston and a team that was young and was trying to take that next step then?
I would say what's changed dramatically, and I'm going to talk a little bit philosophically more than I will about the team itself. What's really changed the last few years is situational football, the analytics that have changed. Conversion downs, the way you approach down and distance in the game, when you're going to take shots, when you know it's 4-down territory. More and more teams are going for it on 4th down. It's conversion downs, not just 3rd downs. I get a big kick out of defensive personnel when it's 4th and 2 and they stop them and they put their fist up like it's 4th down. No, we're not punting. Like teams don't punt anymore. Like you didn't really get them stopped yet. And I'm not making fun of that or making light. That's just how the game has changed in terms of your situational awareness of where you're putting yourself in position to keep the football and maximize your opportunity to score points. That's what's changed the most in the game is the analytical part of what wins, what drives winning. And that's just not down and distance driven. That's tactical driven across the board. Concepts, players, matchups, all of that. That's changed dramatically over the years. And that's one thing that getting back in the NFL is when understanding that the critical plays in a game that changed the game. When we ran that Mark Andrews fake sneak around the end here this year, that was something we'd oiled up for 3 weeks. That was a play off a play. That was Coach Harbaugh's idea. I don't care whose idea it is, where it comes from. If it helps us win, that's what's most important. But it wasn't just a fly by your seat of the pants. Let's just see if it works this way. No, it came up in that situation at a critical time. And that's the difference when you're looking for margins that help you win close games, which is what the NFL is all about.
Let's go Cam, then Jeff, then Joe. To close it out, Joe.
Todd, Cameron Justice, News 5 Cleveland. You talked about it a little bit, your approach in player development, but as that's an attribute that's been something that has been like top of mind for this hire and for you, what makes your approach to player development so unique and different, not just maybe in the young players and rookies that are going to be coming in, but the guys on the fringe, guys that are in that practice squad role looking to move up, and how do you approach that with depth as well?
Well, I think first off, as coach, we could never forget that we have a job for our players, ever. That's why we have a job. And we're in the development business. I know that's just the start of it. I'm kind of repeating what you said. Because no one has a ready-made roster. You only have so many picks. That's what you have. So it's starts with the top that believes in that, then the head coach, then down to the assistant coaches that we're going to coach everybody. At some point, they're all going to play for us. At some point, that's going to come up. And the best way to build their confidence is to spend time with them. That's the biggest thing. And to develop every aspect of their game, that's in the classroom and on the field. And everybody has a hand in this. Everybody from sports science to our coaching staff to what we've seen at the beginning in terms of their skill set and how that fits with what we want to do.
Todd, you were asked about the quarterbacks at the very beginning. How would you assess the current receivers and offensive line?
Well, it's kind of a work in progress. It's kind of hard right now because right now we're spending the majority of our time on building an elite staff. I mean, that's really what we're doing right now. There'll be time for me to really get a chance to assess the receiver room. Most of it's been from afar, and same with the offensive line, and how we're going to construct the roster moving forward, especially offensively.
Joe, to close.
Todd, to close it out, just what's your timeline as far as hoping to complete a coaching staff?
I don't control that. I mean, we're going to vet as many candidates as we can to get it right. When I was a head coach at Southern Miss, we lost a coach, and Pete Golding, who's now the head coach at Ole Miss, he was our 8th safety interview. Our 8th. Our D coordinator was absolutely livid of why it took so long. We didn't get the right hire. We hadn't found it yet. I think just like they all vetted for the head coaching position, don't get worn out. Make sure you get the right people at the start. And that's what we're going to do. So there is no timeline to get it right.
Just, you've been in the division a long time. What do you think it's going to be like competing against Baltimore and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati this year? Baltimore and Pittsburgh, obviously, with new staffs. You were involved with plenty of shootouts with Cincinnati when you were with the Ravens.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
All right, gang, that concludes our questions. We're going to pose for some photos. Andrew, Barry, and Jimmy are going to be available in the room next door if the cameras want to start breaking down for that.
Wow. Wow. That's about all I can say. Look, the notes are galore. When I tell you,
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking of.
when I tell you Todd Monken ain't playing, hold on, give me a second.
Talk to me, Lord. If you brought me to it, you walk me through it. Amen. Trying to whisper, fear on my left, doubt on my right. Still I listen. Prayer in my lungs like oxygen. Every step I take got heaven in it. Faith in my chest like armor plated. Damn what y'all split me, but I stay ruined. Nah, fire in my bones can't cool me down when I call his name.
Can't have my nose running on live. Hit that like button, subscribe, and say, tell your friend about that money man you already know. But yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, I'm taking all these notes because I want to remember so I can go back to them when these haters and these trolls start coming in here talking about Todd Monken wasn't this, Todd Monken wasn't that, Shedeur ain't this and Shedeur ain't that. Then, man, we're going to take a look at Andrew Barry, what he said too. But I want to talk about the first thing I want to address right here is Todd Monken, what he just said about Jim Schwartz. And I told y'all, I sat here and told y'all, I said, I don't care who the defensive coordinator is. Exactly what Todd Monken just said and what I had told y'all on here. He said he ain't come to the Cleveland for Jim Schwartz. He came for the defense. And we going to keep the same defensive system. He didn't take the job because of Jim Schwartz. Like, come on now. I told y'all, as long as Myles Garrett is over there and Denzel Ward, I'm good. And I told you, whoever the defensive coordinator is, you gonna go talk to Myles Garrett. I don't care what Todd Monken saying, what the owner saying. I'm talking to Myles Garrett, what you want to run. And that's exactly what Todd Monken just said. So it ain't gonna matter who the coach is. Jim Schwartz or not. That's why I was like, it don't even make no sense. Why they out here keep talking about Jim Schwartz this, Jim Schwartz that. Like, then he said right after that, the biggest chunk, what it is, I don't even know what the word is no more. But he said he wasn't worried about Jim Schwartz. He was worried about chipping 95 every play. I'm not worried about Jim Schwartz. He not playing. I gotta scheme up the offense to go against 95. If I can't stop 95, or if 95 get loose, we can't win. I'm not worried about Jim Schwartz. Like I told you, man. Players could make a coach. Like, I'm going to say it real quick. I ain't trying to bring him into it. But Kevin down there in Atlanta, if they end up winning, it ain't because of coaching. It's going to be because the players, just like Jim Schwartz, might be a good coach, but to have him on this pedestal is because of he got a generational, probably once or twice in a lifetime type defensive end that's probably won't be seen after he retire. Like this Myles Garrett is that special. So you can't tell me it's all just about coaching. Sometimes it ain't all on coaching. Sometimes it is coaching. Sometimes it ain't all just coaching. But that was the biggest thing. But he said, Todd Monken said, like he always said, I'm starting from the beginning. Now, when he jacked in the side, he said that as soon as he walked in the building. Then what I like what he said, I had to put a star by this. I said, wait a minute. This is how I know this guy the guy. He said, I'm going to fight anything that gets in the way. I told y'all, when that man started crying, then he started crying after that. I was like, this man ain't wait this long to get this opportunity to mess it up. He ain't wait that long to get the opportunity to mess it up. He gonna do whatever he can, fight anything that gets in his way. He want to make a kick-ass football team. That's how you know. The way he was dressed and what he just said, kick-ass football team, you already know. He ain't worried about fashion. He ain't worried about lingo. This man coming out here for football. That's it. Football. That's it. Prove to the owner they can win. Then y'all favorite person. I want to tell you another thing about Atlanta before I say Mary Kay. Atlanta reporters are completely Dang. Atlanta reporters are completely different from Cleveland reporters. They have complete and utterly more respect for their head coach than Cleveland media do. Mary Kay first question is asking about Shedeur. Like, for real? Like, we know it was gonna come up, but it really wasn't the time to ask. Not the very first question, but he said it was still to be determined and cited about 12 in the other quarterbacks. That was a good answer. And then he looking for a quarterback personality, it factor, and a want to follow. Players want to follow him, and teammates want to follow him in a 2-minute and 4-minute situation, and physical traits. I'm telling you right now, every answer Todd Monken done gave, it had football in it, schemes, traits, personality, it factor, want to follow him. Like, he ain't give no, it's on me. We got to do better. We got to figure it out. It ain't no generic answer that could mean anything. Like, it's football related. So I think the man live, eat, sleep, and die football. Because the way he had said about growing up in Halloween costumes and getting gifts and stuff, wasn't nothing but football stuff. So the man live, eat, and die football and sleep. Then what he said right after that got me thinking. I was like, see, I told y'all Shedeur was in the right place where he was supposed to be, because he was the only one that could go through what he was going through. And then if he wasn't there, Todd Monken wouldn't have came, because it happened the way it's supposed to happen. And then Todd Monken confirmed it. God puts you in the right place at the right time. That came out of his mouth. That's exactly the word that came out of his mouth. God puts you in the right place at the right time. God's plan. Shedeur said the same stuff. So to me, that tell me that they are connected, spiritually intertwined, as far as what Shedeur went through. Because we're gonna watch what he said too, Shedeur. So stay tuned. Hit that like button, subscribe, and share. Tell your friend about that man you already know. We had the Pro Bowl yesterday, what he said. And then for y'all that's on here, we're going to be live at 8 o'clock watching the Pro Bowl. So I need y'all to come back here, because we going live again tonight, watching the Pro Bowl, watching 12. So it was time. That song I got, God's timing. You got to be patient. You can't be rushing stuff and expect it to be good. Because this man, like he said, he had the opportunity to be, he could have had the chance to be a head coach back then, but he said he ain't the same coach he was 20 years ago. And you ain't the same person you were 15, 20 years ago. And you ain't even going to be the same person you was a year ago, or 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. So for you to be patient and to get in the right situation, or where God done led you to, or want you at, or where you supposed to be, because your plan ain't the main plan. That's where y'all be messing up. You be trying to force stuff in your way. You be trying to make stuff fit your plan, make stuff fit your schedule, make stuff, like he said, put a circle in a square peg, in a square hole. You can't fit stuff into your plan when it ain't your plan. Just like this whole situation, all these folk hating. This part of the journey, man. All these folk hating on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, hating on 12, hating on Todd Monken, talking about he a bad hire and all that. All these folk were put in place for this journey, because when it get written, well, it was already wrote. It's already written. We just playing it out right now. But what I'm saying is, it's the time. It's the time. He ain't saying nothing different from what Shedeur said when he talking about, if you want me and you want to change your franchise, draft me. Todd Monken said the same thing, but he just said, if you want to change your franchise, hire me as your head coach. That's basically what he said. Because he said he wanted to be a head coach, and it's God's plan and the perfect time, or the right time, for him to be the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Because he want to change the culture. He want to change the franchise. He want to make this franchise into the standard. Like, you don't, that's why I said, when you get people like that want to do it and want to work, you better hold on to them and keep them, because they good for you. Now, on the other end, you got people, mainly Jimmy Haslam, because he's the one that can control the physical. Not the spiritual, but the physical, as far as hiring and firing. That's what I'm saying. If he's not on board with what's going on, then it ain't gonna work for physical. But spiritually, if Jimmy Haslam physically move on from 12 or Todd Monken after this season or 2 years from now, Todd Monken and Shedeur gonna be all right. Jimmy Haslam and his franchise ain't, because you're not paying attention to how these people, just not them two, I'm talking to y'all too now, put this in your own situation. You're not paying attention to how these people are moving and changing and walking, trying to help you or the situation what's going on. You can't be so blinded or misled by somebody from you hearing something or not seeing results, because you ain't being patient enough. Because these people begin put in these situations, is for Shedeur and Todd Monken, they getting put in this situation to help elevate their franchise, like I told y'all 12 was gonna do. We ain't talking about the Cleveland Browns as much as we done talked about the Cleveland Browns or watched their games until Shedeur got there. I told y'all my cousin played on the Browns for 2 years. The past 2 years my cousin played on the Browns. I ain't bought no merch. I ain't looked at no game. I ain't even thought about buying a jersey. I ain't thought about nothing Cleveland Browns, nothing. 12 get there, I'm all in. So that should tell you, Jimmy, that should tell you haters and trolls that these two are ordained and were supposed to be in this situation that they in. Todd Monken and Shedeur. I ain't talking about nobody else. Because them two right there, God puts you in the right place at the right time. I'm not talking about nobody else but them two. And we gonna see it, and you gonna see it. These haters and the trolls, this is what I'm talking to. Y'all gonna see it on this field and off this field and going forward. You about to see how God works. You about to see how all that hate and all that tribulation and all that whatever you doing, I don't even know what to call it no more. All that just whatever. I'm just gonna call it whatever because it ain't even good. All that negativity, all that, man, don't mean nothing. Then you sitting there pitiful because you hating on somebody for no reason. Because you ain't confident in yourself. You ain't, I want to hear that. You don't like yourself. So for you not to like yourself, you got to put it off on somebody else. You got to make somebody else try to feel bad because you don't like yourself. But let me get back on task. He said it starts with having elite players and elite coaching staff. And what he said about that development later, I like that too, but we're going to get to it in a minute. But he ain't got to worry about chipping 95 no more every play. Then he had no comment on Jim Schwartz the first time, but he said, you know, he was a good coach and all that. He likes the challenge. This is where he came from right here. He likes the challenge of the Browns, and the timing is now. That's what I was trying to get to right now. That's what he said. He likes the challenge of coaching the Browns, and the time is now to change the franchise. He said it's 4th and 1 every day. I ain't never heard that. I like that. I like that. It's 4th and 1 every day. If y'all don't know what that means, let me break it down real quick. 4th and 1 is the last play of the offense. If you 4th down with 1 yard left to win the game or the Super Bowl, Seattle with Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. If you 4th and 1 every day, that means you gonna work hard because you might not get a play after that. You might not get no next play. Your 4th and 1 is the last play, so you got to make your last play your best play. I'm telling you. Then what surprised me was he talked to Kevin about being the head coach. He said he had called a whole bunch of head coaches back when he was about to leave Georgia and come back to the NFL to be an offensive coordinator. And he always wanted to be a head coach. He said he talked to coaches to see how they like being a head coach. And Kevin Stefanski, surprisingly, was one of them. Then he talked about, like I said already, keep the same defense system. He didn't take the job because of Jim Schwartz, but I like that, man. I can't wait for that thing to go viral. Woo! He ain't taking no mess. I seen y'all putting that in the chat. Then he said about finding the trait in the players that make them elite. I like that. He not, like I told y'all, you can't keep coaching like Kevin was, your same style of play and expecting the player to be good at it if that ain't him. You gotta, I told y'all, that's why I ain't like what Aditi said, talking about he changed stuff to fit the player. He's supposed to do that. That's what the coach supposed to do. You can't run a 3-3 defense if you ain't got no dogs at linebacker. You can't run no 3-3 defense if you ain't got no dogs at linebacker. You can't run a 4-man front if you ain't got no dogs at D tackle or D line. So you got to adjust to what your team can do. You got to adjust to what your player can do. Find what trait makes the player elite. And after that, after this press conference, I think Mary Kay and Tony G career is over. I think their career over. I had wrote that down after Tony G had spoke, Cause he finna ask one question. Like they were quiet. Like Mary Kay ain't got no insider no more. Cause we done figured it out. It was Kevin. I'm calling it out. It was Kevin leaking that stuff to the media, talking about Shedeur and all that other mess. Cause like I told y'all, we ain't heard nothing about no from the inside source, this source inside. We ain't heard none of that no more. And I don't think nothing gonna be said anyway. Not with Todd Monken in there. The way where that man he's straightforward. Then he was like, he used that little bar graph. He said, this is a bar graph. He said 90 to 85%, you need to fight like hell. And then the other 10% be the B word. Some of y'all stay on that 10%. Y'all want a B word every time somehow. Every time something don't go your way, you want a B word. You want a BF. You want a BF. That's what it is, white chicks. You want a BF. You want to have a BF. Every time something don't go your way. So you can stay over there on that 10%. Because I'm on that 90 to 85%. I'm going to fight like hell for everything I want. I'm going to fight for everything I want and everything I was supposed to get. I'm going to fight. I ain't about to be complaining because it ain't work. It ain't go my way. No, it ain't go my way because I'm about to find another way. That ain't the way it's supposed to went then. I'm going to find another route. I'm going to take this route. I'm going to take that route. Oh, well, it didn't work this way. It didn't work that way. Well, I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go that way. I ain't stopping. I ain't about to complain. I ain't about to call you up. Well, you know what happened, bro? You know it ain't hired me, bro. You know she left me, bro. You know that dog over there, bro. No, I ain't up there gossiping. I ain't telling nobody that. I talked to my cousin last night. I'll tell y'all a true story. This happened last night. I called my cousin because I seen her when I was driving earlier yesterday. I called her. She was in the car. She didn't answer my call. I said, okay. I just seen you. You ain't pick up. So then I was talking to my mom. I got out the phone and I went to put the phone down on the bed. But then I called my cousin on accident. I called her on accident. So she was like, hello. I like, what is that? So I looked at the phone. Then we started talking. Then the first thing I said was, I don't want to hear that. I'm joking now. But this is what I said. I was joking to her, but this is what I said. I said, I don't want to hear that. You ain't answer my call. I said, I seen you. And I know you didn't pick up my call on purpose. She had a good reason why she didn't pick up. But I'm saying is, I ain't seen her in almost over a year. And we live in the same city. But we had a whole 20-minute conversation and some stuff I was telling her she didn't even know about me. She seen it from the outside, but she didn't know exactly what was going on because I didn't tell nobody nothing. I'm not telling everybody, not saying she ain't somebody I could tell, but you ain't supposed to tell everybody your every move or put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook, post it here, post it there. You ain't got to tell everybody you getting blessed. You ain't got to tell everybody your move. You ain't got to tell everybody what you about to do, where you vacation you about to go on. You about to go over here. I just bought a new car. I just bought a new house. I just got a new job. You ain't got to tell nobody nothing. So what I'm saying is, Todd Monken ain't about to tell nobody nothing. Ain't no leaks. Ain't no none of that. Ain't no, well, my inside source from inside. Ain't none of that no more. In the end, they lied. They was already halfway lying in when they said they had an inside source. So I don't want to hear none of that. And like I said, my cousin, I could tell her what's going on if I wanted to. I just told not to. That's what I'm saying. Now, you tell whoever your stuff, whoever you want to tell. But sometimes you just need to move. Quit talking and just move. Because everybody, I ain't saying this about her, but everybody that mean you good, don't mean, sometimes they don't mean you no good. You think they mean you good, but they really don't. And it be sometimes be your own family. Because you don't know. Like, that's why you don't tell everybody to pray for you. I pray for me. No, I need to check you first. Because your prayer It might be the wrong prayer. Because it's power in their tongue now. I don't want you praying for my downfall. I don't want you praying for me to do this or get that or not have this or not have that. I need to know that you connected before you pray for me. I need to know that you on the right path, that you want to do right, that you mean me good. Nah, don't pray for me unless I tell you to. And I done checked you and vetted you. No, don't pray for me. Rev was in here. I was like, okay, here, Rev. I done seen him in my live. I done seen him in some other lives. I was like, okay. I can tell him to pray for me. But other folk, no. Because the devil know the word too. They don't like that. They don't like that. The devil know the word too. I'm telling you, you better be careful. Now, I got to go back and look at this, but I like what he said about the development piece. It wasn't just, you got to give them to trust you, and you got to have that trust and build that relationship. This man, Todd Monken, said, you got to spend time with them, and it ain't just one coach. It's the whole staff play a role in developing the player. He said, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something that got me thinking about how Kevin treated Shedeur and talking about he a good developer. He developed players. And I'm like, when Todd said it, it made more sense that Kevin didn't do it. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I'm gonna look back at it and bring y'all a video on it. Because that was very important. That was the, like, this man really about to take this team to another level. He really about to take this team to another level. And I think it's gonna start this offseason. Well, it really is gonna start this offseason, but they talking about revamping the offense and what Andrew Berry had said. Now, I done been on here an hour and some change. I'm supposed to be looking at these videos. Dang. Let's see.
They're a big reason why I took this job. But they can be rest assured that we're going to keep the same system. We're still going to let them attack. We're still going to let them play free. I can't see any other way. They're a big reason why I took this job. The defensive players. But they can be rest assured that
they cut that last part. That's what he said. They talking about the defense. That's what brought him here. And that's why he took the job, not Jim Schwartz. That man right there. That man right there. Here it is right here. Shedeur. That's what he talk about. Y'all go ahead. Play free and mandatory. That's why I said.
Down here for the Pro Bowl.
When did I find out? That's what I was talking about. Staying in that same system. Like, come on.
So when did you find out you were coming down here for the Pro Bowl?
When did I find out? I was in the airport. Luckily, my flight got delayed, so it's nothing but God.
Where were you supposed to be flying to?
My brother Shiloh. I was just flying back to see him. Yeah, we was all supposed to fly together, but then he just had brighter ideas, and he got there quicker than us anyway. So, but it wasn't meant for me to get on the plane with him, because if I wasn't there at that time, I wouldn't have got that call.
What was your reaction to getting that call?
Just lit. I was like so excited.
What has this season been like for you, to just kind of a roller coaster and then starting the last games and now here with the Pro Bowl?
it just shows you kind of what life is. Like that was my introduction to like life, in a different perspective. So I was thankful for everything. I'm thankful that everything happened how it happened, because it helped me out as a person.
Do you have to change your flight after you find out you're going to the Pro Bowl? Like, do you still get to go see your brother at that moment?
Yeah, I
like,
still
at the
went.
ticket counter, like, I gotta go to see.
Yeah.
What did he just say?
Shows you kind of what life is. Like that was. It just shows you kind of what life is. Like that was my introduction to like life, in a different perspective. So I was thankful for everything. I'm thankful that everything happened how it happened because it helped me out as a person.
Type, yeah, I do. I'm way better than I was the last 2 days, and I still will come live on y'all. Y'all see how dedicated I am, and I want to bring the information to y'all. And I like having y'all up here, looking at me, watching me, communicating with y'all. So I was still doing it when I was sick. Even yesterday when I had the mask on, I could barely breathe. But yeah, but you seen what Shedeur said. You seen what Shedeur just said, and then that's why I said Shedeur said it. Then Todd Monken said it. It happened the way it's supposed to happen. It happened. Appreciate it. It happened the way it's supposed to happen because they supposed to been in this situation. It's ordained for them to be where they supposed to be as the Cleveland Browns QB1 and head coach. People laughing and giggling and want to put up AI pictures of this and that, changing faces on Shedeur, throwing up the wrist with the little dude face that said these nuts and all that. That's fine. Cause you living in the physical, man. We looking at the spiritual side. Where you gonna win at in the totality of this thing? You gonna win at getting closer to God. You gonna win. You always gonna win over there. So it don't matter what the haters saying. It don't matter what they doing, what they posting, what they commenting. It don't matter. It don't matter. I'm telling you. What you talking about? Hold on. Well, you see some Andrew Berry pray or something. Wow. Here it is.
Podcast. We shoot everything inside Riverside. I record our show in 4.
The most impressive. I didn't even know they were going live. Y'all should have been there. So. I ain't even got his mic on. He the owner. I got it. Nah, this is right here. They did a whole nother one. They ain't even got his mic
We're
on.
looking for a strong leader, someone who would hold the players accountable, someone who was tough, had a great work ethic, and quite frankly had experience. And when you combine that with the fact that he's won with the following quarterbacks, Nick Mullins, Jameis Winston, Stetson Bennett IV, and Lamar Jackson, all of whom have entirely different skill sets. And he's won running the ball, he's run passing the ball, made Todd a really attractive candidate. So excited to have him in the building. I think he's off to a good start building and rebuilding the staff. And I really, truly believe that good things are ahead. So happy to take any questions you have.
Jimmy, could you shed light on the future of Jim Schwartz?
Yeah, I think this, first of all, I think Todd made it clear. Andrew's made it clear. I think I made it clear back on January 5th. We think the world of Coach Schwartz. I think Jim and Jim's future is a subject for another day.
He gone.
Todd, about that, do you guys feel like, regardless of what happens with Jim, you will still have one of the most dominant defenses in the NFL, and you can assure your players of that as well?
I do. I feel really good. We have really good players, okay, and it starts there. It obviously helps to have a great coordinator and a great staff. We also have a great staff, and I think Jim would tell you the 4 leaders of the O-line, linebackers, or D-line, linebackers, cornerbacks, and safeties are all outstanding coaches. So we're excited moving forward.
Jimmy, why isn't this? Why can't you shed light on what's going to happen with Jim now?
Those conversations are ongoing. We'll talk about that at a later day. Today is to introduce Todd Monken as new head coach.
Jimmy, when did you, along the process, begin to think that Monken was rising to the top? And you talk kind of in general terms about the tightness.
Yeah.
What else about it? So when and what?
Yeah, you go through a search process, and I think we started out with like 20, 25 candidates. I think we interviewed 9. I might be off by 1 there. And a search is, it's a little bit like this. It's a little bit of a roller coaster. Somebody drops out, somebody comes in, you get better references or better test results on someone or worse. So it's a little bit of roller coaster. I would say Todd was at the top of the list the entire time. I think our search lasted 20 days, and I'd say he was in leading the pack or in the front pack the whole time, Terry.
And Jimmy, what did you learn on your other coaching searches that affected you picking?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I didn't pick him. Okay, we picked him. All right, but I say that we, capital we. And I want to thank Andrew and our team in terms of process. And process is extremely important in these searches because they're very emotional. There are all kinds of information out there, and all due respect, a lot of it not accurate. And so by having an organized, disciplined process, which we stuck to, and I think the first coach, whoever hires the first coach or the second coach is not necessarily the winner. 2 years from now, nobody will remember whether Todd was the 7th or 8th coach hired, whatever he was. What's count is, did we get the right guy? And I think our team laid out a good process, and I think we were disciplined throughout that process the entire time up to last Wednesday when we announced Todd as our head coach.
Jimmy, you talked about
Ooh, that was a good answer.
quarterbacks, and obviously Andrew before had mentioned whoever you guys hired as head coach would have a lot of input there. Like, how confident are you with Todd's experience that he can help give a long-term answer at that position?
Like highly confident. Now Andrew's got to help him. We need players, but I'm highly confident.
How much did Jimmy? How much did players? Did you? I mean, interactions you have with players over the course of the process. I mean, Miles, Denzel, any of the senior, the veteran, leaders.
Yeah, I'll be honest. During the process, and Andrew might have been a little bit different. I didn't talk to any players, but JW, who's in the back of the room there, and myself interviewed 30 or 40 players post season and post the announcement of Kevin. And I think we got really good feedback offensively and defensively about what was needed.
You talk to the players.
With Todd Monken is accountability and player development. Why were those two so important to this organization specifically, to you guys in this search?
Well, I think all of us who have run organizations understand you have to have accountability. And as I mentioned, when JW and I interviewed or spent time with 30 or 40 of our players, if you said, give me one common word, is we need more accountability. So that stuck with us. And then player development, I believe we'll have the youngest team next year in the NFL. So obviously you need to have somebody who appreciates and is good at player development.
Jimmy, Todd was the first external candidate that you guys were logistics.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Didn't tip off who you were heading to.
Yeah, and you remember you're dealing with lots of things. You're dealing with the Rooney Rule, okay? You're dealing with teams in the playoffs. The NFL has a much more controlled process than they've ever had before. As you'll remember, we were dealing with severe weather. So we were dealing with lots of different things. I wouldn't read the fact that we hired Todd it was because he was the second guy we interviewed. That's how it fell out.
Jimmy, you made it clear after you fired Kevin that you expected this team was going to win more than 8 games the last 2 years. So even though, as you said, you anticipate having one of the younger teams, is the expectation that this team's going to win a lot more this year than they did last year?
Well, let's be careful with a lot more, Daryl. But do I expect we'll win more games? I do. And I think we'll have a better team, better football team. And I think it'll be what's Terry say? They're ugly to watch sometimes. We're not going to be ugly to watch, okay? And I actually take that seriously. I mean, we want it to be a fun team to watch, a team that plays hard, plays smart, and most of all wins.
Todd's got a lot of personality. I mean, up there today, he cried, he was joking, he was cursing. What do you think? How do you think that influences coaching style? What do you make of his personality?
I think players, and really all of us, want to see real guys. And what you saw today, that's how Todd is. It wasn't like, well, he's not really, he might cuss a little more, but that's really what Todd is like, okay? And you see the emotion, you see the faith, you see the drive, the work ethic, the confidence. What you saw for the 25 minutes he was up there today, that's Todd Monken.
Jimmy, you mentioned the process and you mentioned the tests, and you guys, I think, took some grief for how you conduct your process. Do you think, first of all, do you think it's that different than what everybody else does in the league?
I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea.
And what do you like about the way that you do it that includes the tests and asking guys to do, fill out?
Yeah, I think you have to be really careful to just weight everything on the interview, okay? Because sometimes strong personalities sell better than other personalities. And I think when we put a lot of confidence in references, and we probably had 30 references on everybody. And obviously you put more confidence in some references by how high they are up the totem pole. Okay. So I think that's important. I think the testing we put them through is important, the body of work, and then the interview. And those are the 4 things we didn't short circuit. Everybody did the same. And I think it served us well.
Jimmy, I know that the crews are about to start digging the hole for the dome. How concerned are you with lawsuits still pending? The lawsuit over unclaimed funds, the lawsuit filed by former Mayor Kucinich.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. 4 weeks from yesterday, we're going to start the largest construction job in Cuyahoga County history. So I think that would tell you how confident we are.
And how important is it too, because with the crew getting the Olympics there, how important is it to have the dome here and hopefully get some of those?
Yeah, I don't know if everybody read it, but the Olympics are actually going to take place in Columbus, Ohio, which seems a little strange since they're in Los Angeles, but there's so many soccer games, they need lots of venues. And so Columbus will have somewhere between 4 and 8 Olympic soccer games. And I just think that shows you with world-class venues what opportunities you will have. We will have that starting in 29 with new Huntington Bank Stadium.
Jimmy, 2 questions real quick. First of all, what did you make of Myles Garrett's reaction? And have you talked to him ever since he posted that thing on Instagram? That's my first question. My second question is going to be about Deshaun Watson. So I want to make sure to squeeze that in too.
Yeah, listen, I love Myles. Okay, I haven't talked to him since the day after the season, but I'm highly confident Myles will come in here and break the sack record again and be the defensive player. He hadn't been named it, but I'll be shocked if he isn't, and will be a leader of our team.
Okay, and the Deshaun Watson question is, do you guys feel like if Deshaun Watson is healthy, you have a potentially 3-time Pro Bowl caliber quarterback to offer to Todd Monken as he evaluates your quarterback room?
Yeah, I think that's somebody asked a question about quarterback today, and I think Todd knows a little bit from playing us, but really, he's an offensive coach, and he'll start looking at that, and that'll be Todd's call. We have 3 quarterbacks on the roster, and we'll let Todd give us advice, and he and Andrew will work from there.
Jimmy, two more. We're going to go Jason. We're going to go Tony.
Jimmy, I know we're doing Brown today, but Giannis obviously talking about the NBA. Do you expect the Giannis trade?
I would say this, Jason. Giannis is, I don't know, top 3, top 4 player in the world. He brought Milwaukee its first championship in 50 years, several years ago. And he's a really good person too. He's no problem. He's a great leader, tries hard. And I think Giannis and the Bucks, and this goes back before we were involved, have always worked closely to see what's best for Giannis and what's best for the Bucks. And we'll continue to do so.
What's a successful trade look like?
I can't.
Why they asking the basketball question?
Todd said he wanted to keep the same defensive system. You made reference to all the good assistant coaches you have on defense. Should we assume that they will be back definitively?
Yeah, we would hope so. We would hope so. I can't say definitively, but we would hope to have, by and large, we have a couple of free agents, the same players, okay, which is a great place to start, right? And then the same basic coaching staff.
Thank you, guys.
Great. Thanks, everybody. Good to see you all.
Yeah, he on the Milwaukee Bucks, but this ain't the time to ask that question. They like that. It ain't their time to ask about Jim Schwartz. Like, they about Todd Monken and the Cleveland Browns right now. We're gonna move. What are they gonna do to move forward with the team? That would should be the main question. But Mary Kay, man, I'm out. They so desperate for something. Like, you ask the same question to Todd Monken, now the owner, and I'm pretty sure they about to ask the same question to Andrew Barry. He just said it's gonna be Todd Monken and Andrew call to make the decision on the quarterback room. So I'm pretty sure Mary Kay about to ask the same question to Andrew Barry. Let me see, can I skip forward?
I'll have an opener for you, so I'll let you guys just.
Andrew, what's been made of the process, and can you expand a little bit more on it, maybe, and just the uniqueness of it compared to the way other organizations do it?
Yeah, so I can't speak to the way that other organizations do it, Chris. I guess when we look at the head coaching position, like, it's a lot like if you were, in the business world, you're hiring a CEO or a COO, right? This is a position that, across the league you may spend, call it 50 to 100 million on the hire, plus another 75 million on their staff, plus the impact that they have on the organization. And there has to be a level of like thoughtfulness when you're going through that hiring process. So the way that we looked at it is like, okay, you know, generally speaking, you have a 4-week period to make really a monumental hire for the organization, something that can alter your path, alter your strategic direction in a very positive way, or if you make the wrong hire, a very negative way. And so the way we went through the process is, one, we wanted to define, okay, what are we asking this individual to do in this phase of our team's life cycle? 2, what are the characteristics and attributes that we're seeking that would allow them to be successful? And then 3, how are we actually going to measure that? And the way we looked at it was, number one, it's performance, right? It's a performance-based business. We want someone with a good track record. We want to know what it was like working with these individuals from the people who have been with them over a long period of time. And then we also wanted to test their critical thinking skills in role-specific areas. And that's what the interview process was. That's what the the assessments were and the work sample. So it was simple like that. For that guided our interviews. I know a lot of teams, they may do it the flip way, where they'll interview to like funnel. We did a lot of research on the front end to guide who we would actually even submit a slip for, and then use additional parts of the process, the interview process, to ultimately arrive at a result.
Andrew, was Todd someone that shocked you, or was someone that was always for you going to be right in the thick of things?
No, the way we went through is like, for us to get to the point where we felt comfortable submitting a notification form. They're called notification forms. You submit to the team, you submit it to the league. We had done a lot of research on the front end to make sure that they matched what we needed and what we were looking for in the head coaching position. So it wasn't just like, okay, let's just submit for, a number of different coaches and kind of go scattershot. We had done the homework on probably starting 50 coaches, then we funneled it to 23, and then ultimately the 8 external candidates that we submitted for before we even got to that point.
Andrew, I got 2 Jim questions. One, is there still a chance that he can come back as defensive coordinator?
Yeah, Scott, I'd say again, I'd repeat what Todd said, where we have a ton of respect for Jim and everything like that. There will be a time for that, but this is Todd's day.
And
All right, what happened? It messed up. It ain't on my end. Like, it messed up on their end. Yup.
Opportunity to dig into what he has in the quarterback room that you have right now, that he will find what he's looking for right there in your quarterback room? Or do you think there's a chance that he might want to look in the draft or free agency or trade market?
Mary Kay, I think for us, I think I've mentioned it to at least all of you here, that we go into each offseason as if we have an expansion team. So, and particularly at quarterback, where it's the most important position in sports, we'll always do resource in terms of like what opportunities are available in the veteran market and in the draft market. We've got to hire a staff first. After that, we'll certainly, pick up the internal assessments with our own roster. But quarterback, no different than another number of other positions. We'll spend a lot of time assessing what options are out there.
Andrew, I'll go.
Okay.
I'm over.
Age before beauty.
She does great. You mentioned, almost like in passing, that you thought you probably had maybe the youngest roster in the league. Where does that come from? And is that the plan, or?
That's just where we're projecting based on the amount of draft resources we have, and then probably just anticipated activity in free agency. That combined with having a very young defense, we would anticipate that we'd be a very young team. We're not necessarily going to be at a phase where we're going to sign, a bunch of mid-30s veterans to like put us over the top, so to speak. That doesn't mean that we're not going to participate in free agency or participate with veteran players, but the reality of having 10 selections, 8 that are in the top 150, and already a very young defense, and with pretty heavy investment on offense, in most worlds, we're probably going to be one of the younger teams in the league.
So a few weeks ago, when I asked you about the defensive system, and you said you don't believe you're scheme specific, but obviously you like the way you guys play.
Mm-hmm.
And Todd talked about anticipating that scheme stays the same regardless of what happens with Jim. Just how important was that? And I guess, are you guys satisfied with that outcome with that side of the ball?
Well, we're certainly satisfied with the outcome, and part of the reason because we hired Todd. But the second part I'd say is like in terms of the flexibility with the defensive system, We did talk to a number of coaches that we thought very highly of that, would have had some alterations with it. That was not necessarily a non-starter for us. We were looking for the person who best fit the characteristics we were looking for for this phase of the team. But yeah, like we think they play the style particularly well.
Andrew, 2 questions about 2019. Todd had mentioned you being a point of contact for him. What kind of relationship did that lead to? And then the second question is, I know you went to Philly, but in the interview process, what did he convey to you about his familiarity with the franchise and what he learned in that year?
So that's a great question, Nate, because the interesting part is when we were supporting Freddie with building out his initial staff, he's right. I was the point of contact. So we talked about, things during the interview process, supported him to get up and running. And then I think maybe like a week later, I had gone to Philadelphia. Well, the flip side is when I was in the interview process for the general manager's position here, I called him and I was like, okay, like essentially, hey, what happened in 2019? Obviously you can infer from the outside, but there are a lot of good people. There are a lot of good players there. I'm surprised the season went as it. And he was very honest and forthright. And so we always like kept in contact. I can't say that like, we were incredibly close throughout that time, but it was always a bunch of, it was really always a lot of mutual respect. Texted him after they won the national championship in Georgia. We always talked and texted like throughout the season when he's with the Ravens. Just always had a lot of respect for him. So I'm super pumped to have the chance to be able to work with him.
So I know somebody.
Let me go someone who hasn't asked a question. I'm going to go Daniel first because I like him better than you, Daryl. So I'm just
Dang. He mean that for real.
Testing questions or assessment questions. What is your plan or how would you develop Shedeur Sanders? I guess why was it important to include that question? Is that maybe indicative of the organization's hopes for him?
So when we talk about player development, one of the things that we wanted to get a feel for with all the candidates was less about the specific player, but more about like the player archetype, so to speak. So Shedeur, right, is naturally that's like an example of like a young quarterback, and see what thoughts candidates had on that. We also had another young player on defense, and we also had a position coach as part of that because we wanted to see how the head coaching candidates thought about those things globally, given everything that's asked for them in that seat.
They're confirmed.
Offensively, obviously, there's a lot of work that you have to do. You talked about, hey, you can't fill every hole in one off season. Jimmy just, mentioned, hey, he doesn't expect the team's going to be more fun to watch this year, win at least more games than you did last year. So what's that balance and timetable look like from your perspective as you go to work this off season, trying to put that offense together with time?
Yeah, Daryl, I think honestly, you just try and make the best decisions as they become presented to you. I think it's as simple as that. I think we believe in being very process oriented and feeling if we have good process, it'll lead to good results. Todd's obviously very flexible in terms of what has been built for him and how successful he's been. But a big part of it does come maybe a little bit back to Mary Kay's question. I know she was talking about it more with quarterbacks, but just player availability on the marketplace. Like what types of players, what styles of players, and at what positions are they available? I guess like maybe by way of example, if we were sitting here last year and, you would have said, hey, look, you're going to take a running back and an off the ball linebacker in the early second round. Said, okay, that's probably unlikely based on the player markets, that type of thing. But that's what we did because like we felt like, Carson and Quinshawn made the most sense, in that moment, and they could be long-term, fixtures on the roster. So I'd like to look for even my own sake. I'd like to have a little bit more clarity there, but the reality of it is we have a lot of work to do before we get to that.
Couple more here. Could you clarify when you interviewed offensive-minded coaches, how much of the conversation was there about Schwartz as a defensive coordinator? It's been reported you demanded it, you suggested it. Yeah. It couldn't have been avoided, right?
Yeah, I think honestly that naturally comes up with staffing decisions, Tony. You always ask, okay, hey, look, what's your plan on each side of the ball for staff? What are the roles and responsibilities that you see as you round out your staff? And then, do you have familiarity or what do you think with, your existing assistants? I'd say that's pretty standard across coaching interviews, Tony, and that was pretty standard with us. Have you asked one, Joe?
No.
Okay.
Andrew, in terms of Todd, from when you first met him in 2019 to now and seeing him at Georgia and Baltimore, where have you seen him make the most evolution or growth?
I'll be honest, I actually think the most impressive part of, and maybe it's a little bit unfair to say growth, but he was one of the early air raid coordinators in college, right? Shotgun, one back, spread it out, up tempo. He goes to Tampa Bay. They're probably like the early adopters of like the hard play action, hit the drifts over the middle of the field, get the ball out, have explosives with easy passes for the quarterback. And then, Georgia, they're a little bit of a marriage of a bunch of different things. I actually thought the coolest evolution was the contrast in his first 2 years in Baltimore. So he gets hired in Baltimore. They were largely a power QB run-based offense under Greg Roman. They were looking to see Lamar take another step as a passer. He wins his second MVP, where they're very much a pass-oriented offense, and he has one of the greatest passing seasons in NFL history. They go out and sign Derrick Henry the next year. I shouldn't say they completely changed their approach, but philosophically they were much different. They were power run, downhill, and they have another phenomenal offensive season. And like to see that level of change just in a single year, adapting to like the strengths of the personnel, it's very impressive.
He's got a lot of personality.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of showing it in front of the camera. Jimmy said he likes the Todd, feels like a guy up there. What sort of asset do you think that can be for a coach?
Yeah, I actually think people and players in particularly appreciate coaches that are authentic. Like everybody comes in different packaging. Everybody in this room like comes in different packaging, and all we want people to do is be themselves. Because if Todd can be himself, he's incredibly knowledgeable. He's incredibly credible. He's incredibly funny. I just think people will respect that.
Andrew, what did you make of Myles Garrett's reaction the day of both the hire and James supposedly leaving the building mad? And then what do you think Miles's response to all this is going to be? I don't know if you know.
Yeah, I didn't see it, to be honest, Mary Kay. We kept Myles abreast of the process throughout. So he honestly he knew the news before you all did. So Myles is a great team player. I'm not really worried about that.
We're going to go two more. We're going to go Spencer, then we're going to go Coop.
Andrew,
I'll get you two. All right, we'll go three more.
this was your first time as GM going through the coaching search. Did it go kind of as you anticipated? If there were challenges along the way or disagreements on the way, how did you kind of work through those things? Just what was kind of your overall takeaways from what did you learn? And how did you kind of combat things?
Yeah, I'd actually say it's pretty similar to the ones that I had not led but been a part of, previously at previous stops. You learn and meet one thing I want to say, the NFL coaching community is in really, really good shape. I know people talk about like, oh, there aren't big name candidates. There are a lot of really, really talented and really, really good coaches in this league if people take the time to look. And we learned a lot, throughout the past several weeks. We met with a lot of incredible people, and we were very happy with the process and how it turned out.
Andrew, that being said, can you just talk about the collaboration process? Obviously, there's some rumors that you wanted Shieldhouse and Jimmy wanted Monken. Can you just shed some light on just the back and forth with you and Jimmy during this entire process?
I would say very respectfully, I think there is an underlying and stereotypical assumption for why people would say that. And I think that's completely unfair.
Andrew, it's kind of adjacent to Daryl's question, but I know you don't have a timeline for it, but how important is it for you guys to establish an identity, to create that identity early, both on offense and special teams? I know you want to keep the defense the same, but how important is it for you guys to create that and get a feel for what you have with Monken and what this team ends up being come the start of the season?
Well, I think it's certainly important to have the identity before September 1st, that type of thing. But I think, the time leading up to it and as we go through the different personnel avenues and the personnel cycles and things like that, we have time, and we'll do it slowly and deliberately and thoughtfully. All right. Thank you all.
Thanks, Andrew. Look here. Man, look here. I'm going to start with Andrew Berry first because I think, man, they're probably going to be the longest lie I had in a minute. But I think I found a new respect for Andrew Berry. Can y'all hear me? I think I found a new respect for Andrew Berry. Even Jimmy Haslam, I like how they answer them questions. Because Mary Kay asked him dumb questions, and then he whatever, I can't remember what he had, but he got to assess the opinions or whatever it was. I don't even want to answer that no more. Anyway, Andrew talking about they're going to heavy invest in the offense through free agency and the draft. So we're going to take a look again on Power on My Net Live or whatever. We're going to take another look at these free agents, and mainly the offensive line and probably the wide receiver position, because that's why I think they might go heavy in the free agency if, you know, they however they maneuver with Deshaun Watson contract. And then I told y'all about the insurance money they got for Deshaun for him not playing the 2025 season. So they got like $58 million that's going to help them with the cap space. And then the cap for the whole NFL going up to like $305 million. So they're going to help them too. So they got some wiggle room to sign some players. And we had looked at it, but we're going to take another look after Andrew just said they're going to invest real heavy on the offensive side. So I ain't saying that first pick going to be a quarterback or the second first round pick going to be a quarterback, but I expect the offensive line change heavily like the Bears did, and probably a couple of receivers. I say they'll sign a receiver in free agency and probably draft one. Same thing with the offensive line, so they can get some sprinkle in some veterans and the rookies in there, to get this thing rolling and turn around quick. Because with these coaches in the league, first and second years and third years coaching, they in the Super Bowl. And the Browns ain't got no excuse. You ain't got no excuse no more. Because every other team doing it, and all the other teams that lower in the bottom of the draft class, you ain't got no excuse no more. If a team can hire a coach and they put all the resources and investments behind their coach and listen to their coach, and they flip their whole roster or, invest in certain players in certain positions, it ain't no excuse no more. But Jim Schwartz, that was a non-starter as far as they were going to keep him. They wanted all the coaches to keep him. I told you, man, this media be lying. Like I ain't been around too much media because I just started this over a year ago now. But this media lie so much and they fishing for a narrative or to be right that they don't matter what they ain't worried about their credibility. Because they'll say certain stuff and it ain't even true. Ain't even close to being true. Because Jimmy Haslam basically said the media be lying. We'll get to that in a minute. AB have been trying to work with Gay, man. He called organization to be dysfunctional. Can't truly turn the organization around. Hey, Paul, look here. I was just about to say that. It seemed like Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry, they look free far as they ain't got to deal with Kevin Line and knowing he was leaking information to the media. They ain't got to worry about that no more. And they talking more freely and more confident. I see a confidence in both of them that I didn't see this past season, far as they made the right hire, they moving forward, and what they about to do in this offseason might hit another home run. Now, we ain't going to know that still, wait to be determined, but the way they talked and the way they was speaking and looking, I like that. Look, Jimmy Haslam, bro, if you listening, tell me where you got that blazer from. Because, dog, I know you're a billionaire, and I might can't afford it right now. But look here, if it's Tom Ford or any of them other one, because that thing was clean. I just noticed that. I don't know everybody, that blazer Jimmy Haslam had on, that thing was clean. Anyway, but yeah, they speaking way more confident. And then he talked about the player development and a player, they were looking more for player archetypes, what they could do with player archetypes. And then about the question about Shedeur on the test. So basically he confirmed the question was on the test about how you would develop Shedeur. And then they played a part in what they wanted to know, how would you develop a young player, like a young quarterback like Shedeur, not just the player, but the archetype of the player. And then he said they also had a young defensive player on there and a young coach name on there. So I'm guessing the young defensive player probably was Carson Schlesinger. That's what I'm guessing. Or it could have been Mason Graham, but I want to say more Carson Schlesinger, and I don't even know who the young coach would be. We ain't worried about him. But then he said Miles knew the news before everybody. That's good because you got to keep and I'm pretty sure Denzel knew too. Denzel Ward. But you got to keep your star player in the loop. You got to tell him first and keep him what's going on. And I don't think Mary Kay kept trying to bait Jimmy and all them into that question about what Myles Garrett had posted. I don't think it was dang, we hired Todd Monken post. I think it was he exhausted because the process took so long and they was keeping him in the loop that they was interviewing this coach, interviewing that coach. And then that coach dropped out. This coach dropped out. And then probably some stuff we don't even know about what was going on. And Myles Garrett just got tired and exhausted, even though he wasn't in the physical process of interviewing, but he was kept in the loop. That's why I think he posted that. That's my opinion, you know what I'm saying? But we ain't really gonna know. And then that last question, like I said, the media be lying. And Andrew Berry basically confirmed it when he basically said they was race baiting. I say it for you, Andrew. When they talked about him, he wanted to hire Nate Shieldhouse and Jimmy Haslam wanted to hire Todd Monken. And then Jimmy Haslam basically said when they asked him the question that they talking about Todd Monken was his hire. He said, no, it was we hired Todd Monken. He cleared that up. That's what I like, man. That's what I like. But Andrew said they was race baiting. Basically, he put it in a nice way. But just because Nate Shieldhouse black and then Todd Monken white, that's why they were saying Jimmy wanted Todd and he wanted Nate. And then they just came to an agreement on Todd. Man, whatever. They just looking for stuff. Then let's go back to Jimmy Haslam. He said they were looking for a coach that for the biggest thing when they talked to 30, he said they interviewed 30 to 40 players. And the biggest thing that came up in them interviews out of them players was they wanted a coach to hold them accountable, to have accountability. That tells me that Kevin did not hold them accountable to whatever they were supposed to be doing, or even himself probably. I don't know exactly what they were saying in the meetings, or the media ain't gonna know neither. So don't let them lie to you. So the hold them accountable, that means it was a clip with Myles Garrett when Kevin was talking in the locker room. I can't find it right now, but it's a clip. Somebody might speak. Somebody might find it. Savage or Mid Robinson, one of y'all stay on this thing. They might find it with Myles Garrett when Kevin was talking. He went like this, like Kevin was lying. So he ain't been like it. You can't tell me it wasn't Kevin, man. You can't tell me it wasn't Kevin holding his team back. And not if he not went holding players accountable, that means he wasn't holding himself accountable. He was lying to players and some of these coaches and stuff. And that's why Myles Garrett gave him that side eye because he knew he was lying. But at the same time, like I said, we ain't really gonna know. I'm just speculating, but that's just my opinion. But Jimmy Haslam said he expect to have a better team and to win more games. He ain't put no number on it, but he said what they're gonna do on the offensive side and what they're gonna do in the draft and all this. He expecting to have a better team and to win more games. I already done told y'all my prediction. If you didn't know, I said the Browns might win 11 games. We had looked at their roster, not their roster, their schedule. We had looked at the schedule, but we don't know exactly what date they playing these teams. But we seen the team they were playing, and I said I expect the Browns to win at least 11 games and be in the playoffs. Cleveland Browns in playoffs in the same sentence. Yep, I said it. And I expect Shedeur Sanders to be in the MVP conversation and Pro Bowl #2. So that's what it is. And they were big on player development when they were going through the interview process. And the thing that got me was Andrew Berry said it before Todd came up, but he gave a little detail. We'll look at it again in a minute. But Jimmy said they had 30 references, 30 plus references for each candidate. And I don't know how many they talked to, but he was like, some of them references outweigh others. just because of what position they was in. And I can respect that. And then the testing and the interview process, that way came in the whole totality of this coaching search and his coaching hire, which I think they nailed this thing, bro. The way Todd talking, and that man ain't crying up there for sure, you know what I'm saying? So I think they nailed his hire. And whatever process, I don't know if Andrew Berry came up with it or that team, whoever that team is, Jimmy done paid over there to get them on the right path and find a coach and about to, I get whatever they do in the free agency and the draft, we about to see if that team gonna turn this franchise around and everybody be on board with Todd Monken and Shedeur. And then Mary Kay asked the question about Deshaun Watson, and he gonna say Jimmy has him said we gonna let Todd and Andrew handle that. That makes sense because he came out and said a big swing and a miss. That's why I don't believe, because the media putting this out, not the Browns. That's why I don't believe Deshaun Watson gonna play or start on this team. The owner, if he's still on the team, he not starting. He not QB1, and it ain't gonna be no competition. The owner that came out and said that was a big swing and a miss, and he just told you that he ain't gonna be part of the process or determining or making that decision on Deshaun Watson. He done with Deshaun. He done completely. So I'm telling you right now, I don't see, first of all, if Deshaun's still on the team, I don't think he's gonna be QB1. If he's not on this team, which could be a high possibility, could not, depends on how Andrew Berry gonna finagle this cap and this money they still own, even though, like I told you, the insurance money and this cap, raising the cap, got them a lot of ability to move or maneuver with Deshaun. And a lot of people ain't talking about that, the insurance money. I'm gonna do a whole video on it. So y'all want to like that, stay tuned. I'm telling you right now, go ahead and subscribe because we coming back live at 8 o'clock for the Pro Bowl. About to see 12 out there and see what's going on with the Pro Bowl. A lot of y'all think it's a joke. A lot of people think it's a joke and don't watch it. But we're gonna be live. But like I said, a lot of people ain't talking about the insurance money. A lot of people ain't talking about that. And the maneuvers they could be making just based on the salary cap done raised, and they got that $58 million back to help with their salary on the Deshaun Watson. What y'all talking about? What I'm alone better than they showed because I think Kevin played a role and know how to offer but do. He did, dog. Yeah, they still don't be in a young team, but Andrew Berry explained it by how the free agency and the draft. He mainly talking about the draft because they're gonna draft a lot of players in this draft because they got a lot of picks. And they know they got to build through that draft. At the same time, they might sign a free agent or two. Depends on how much salary cap they working with. And who they targeting too. They're gonna and how much they want. The longer they see to get money. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't know what they talking about competition. But when they say that about Deshaun Watson, they don't talk about that insurance money. They don't talk about how Cleveland took out the insurance policy on the Deshaun contract. They don't talk about none of that. So to benefit the Browns is not to play Deshaun. That's the biggest benefactor of this whole situation. If we don't play him, we get some of the money back. And then you don't want to play him and wish he get hurt. You don't want to do that because now you sabotaging Deshaun and trying to mess with his career. Now, if the situation is where you got to play Deshaun, then that's different. But right now, no. The insurance money gonna speak louder than playing Deshaun. I don't care how much you got left in the tank or how much, whatever. I don't care. So Kevin had them doing a lot. We gonna see what they do in Atlanta. Go over there and subscribe to Dirty Bird Savages, my other YouTube channel, if y'all want to see what's going on in Atlanta with Kevin. Not just Kevin, but the whole Atlanta Falcons, because I'm going to keep covering Atlanta even after Kevin get fired.
I saw him last night. I went up and grabbed him on the shoulders. I think what Shedeur does is, man, he's like very confident in who he is. And I think that's what serves him. As a young player, you have to have that unwavering belief in yourself because you're going to go through times, no matter what, that you're not necessarily familiar with in terms of like your college experience where you've won a bunch of games and then come into the NFL. And I could see it right away with the belief that he had in himself and and just that gamer type of mentality that he was going to, have the right mindset to be successful in this league. So then once he can learn everything else, the fact that he has that foundation of having that right mindset, just probably through the way he's grown up, is gonna serve him well. I saw him last night.
Man, look here. This ain't scripted, man. This the third player, a teammate of Shedeur, that done came out and said almost the exact same thing. Like this Joe Flacco, somebody Shedeur was looking up to. I don't know if y'all remember when he was in the locker room, he was excited to meet Joe. Like Shedeur was gonna carry Joe bags. Like, come on now. And for Joe Flacco to say that, a vet, and I like that they speaking free because he a free agent. Shelby Harris a free agent, so they can speak their mind. But it's a common thing that these players are saying, and they ain't even, probably ain't even listening to what the other one that said. They going off their own experience. And then another thing they said, how he was raised. Everybody keep going back to Coach Prime, how he was raised. Like, I done heard that multiple times, man. So all the media, all these trolls and stuff, man, like I told y'all, we wasn't in the room, in the quarterback room. We didn't know what was going on during the season, then the training camp. And not one bad thing has came out about Shedeur in the locker room, especially from the teammates. The only negative stuff that been coming out came from the Cleveland media that be lying. I'm telling you, don't listen to the Cleveland media all the time. Ridiculous, man. And then the other thing, I was gonna bring it up. No, hold on, let me see. I did save it. Here it is right here. Hold on. Can y'all see that better? Can y'all see it better? Y'all like it like this or like this? Which one better? This one? Or this one right here? Or that one right there? I'll leave it like that. But anyway, y'all see what it is. Y'all told me she done sold $250 million worth of jersey. I still don't think that's the correct number, though. But he top 5. And if this in the correct order, that means he number 3. Top selling NFL jersey. Shedeur Sanders in top 5 in jersey sales. He is the most popular rookie since his dad, Deion Sanders, took the league by storm when he was drafted in 1989. Son of prime time and crushing it. Number 1 seller by the start of 2026 season. Perfect time. I'm telling you right now, if this thing in the correct order, then Shedeur is number 3 on the jersey sales in the top 10. I'm telling you right now. And y'all know why. The popularity, the charisma, the personality, the skill set. Some people lying. Some people that's haters and trolls are lying. I'm telling you right now. Ain't that many, ain't no way in the world you be top 3, top 3, top 5, or number 3 in jersey sale, and you got all these haters and these trolls. Some of these haters and these trolls that bought Shedeur jersey. I'm telling you that right now. Hold on, man. Sheesh.
Change my life. I won't conform. No, no, I'm transformed. Renew my mind. Change my life. I won't conform. No, no, I'm transformed. Renew my mind. Change my life. I won't conform. No, no, I'm transformed. I won't think like the world no more. I got new thoughts from heaven's door. Old ways gone, new heart start. God changed me from the inside party. Renew my mind, change my life. I won't go for I'm transformed. Renew my mind, change my life. I won't go for I'm transformed. Renew my mind, change my life. I won't go for I'm transformed. Renew my mind, change my life. I won't go for I'm transformed. Don't
Woo, we back. I'm almost done. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I had to blow my nose again, man. Shit. I'm telling you, ain't no Dylan Jersey. What you talking about? All the errors in the background. Who feeling attacked? Who you talking about feeling attacked by somebody screaming? Try to read y'all comment while I got a little time. Ops players. I can't wait to see what they say tomorrow. Well, they probably already done said something. 92-9, 92, nah, not the 92-9. That's the Falcons. 92-9, 92.3. The Fan. No, they renewed gospel in my song. All on mine. But go sub the renewed gospel. Renew my mind. I don't think I got that one up there yet. Wait, it's up. It might be. I think it might be up there already. But I got some more bangers over there. And the album dropping soon, February 17th. I'm gonna keep that same date. Renewed Gospel album dropping. So go sub the Renewed Gospel. This right here, Shedeur compared to Peyton Manning. They were Peyton Manning rookie year. They were talking about Peyton Manning was a bust. 26 touchdowns, 28 interceptions. He threw more interceptions than passing touchdowns. But he started 16 games. Shedeur ain't started 9 games. He ain't started 9 games. He only started 7. They gonna say he played in 8, but he started in 7. But all I'm saying is, this stuff don't mean that, man. Like, once again, Shedeur is a rookie, man. He was a rookie. You trying to compare and want this man to carry a sorry team on his back, and he ain't even had no 13 reps until he got in the game. Like, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. You want this man to create magic. You want Shedeur to create magic when ain't no magical stuff around him. Like, he can only do so much. His running back got hurt. His leading receiver that was a tight end got hurt. The man won 2 games without him. Like, with a jag at wide receiver, it's only so much he can do. And then the coaches had, well, I ain't gonna say coaches, Kevin Stefanski lost at least 3 of them games on his own. I know 2 with Shedeur. He definitely lost the Tennessee Titan game, and he lost the 49ers game. I know he definitely lost them. He definitely lost them games. That was coaching. Because ain't nowhere in the world, bro. Shedeur almost came back and won that game by himself. And that was his second career start when they played the what's the name? Uh-oh. Here it is right here. What you saying to me? I got it right here.
Right when he was drafted, maybe even
Yeah, no, never before that. And here he is after finishing his rookie season as a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. A Pro Bowl to be played tonight. Shedeur Sanders, welcome to the show. How you feeling?
What's going on? I'm pretty good.
Great. I think I interviewed you at an airport once. Remember? You were at an airport?
Yes.
You went on like a visit.
Yes, I remember that.
People were upset that you like had your hood on.
Yeah, I mean,
and look at you now.
That's usual. That's usual.
One NFL season down. One Pro Bowl trip in the books. You said it was surprising, but it still got to feel special. My question is, though, have you managed to sneak in any Twitch streaming while you're in the Bay yet so far? Are you streaming right now?
No, so you got to understand, like, everybody has, like, in the family, everybody has, like, their roles, you know?
Okay.
So it's like Shiloh gets more on the Twitch, and he brings that side out of me of, like, of that. It's just everybody dynamics different.
At Panini Rookie Premiere,
everybody has like a piece of the pie.
So what's your piece of the pie?
My piece of the pie is like I open up more like when family's around.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who you had with you at Rookie Premiere, but it was I call it like an attack. Like you were streaming and didn't tell me. And it was my
I don't know who that lady is, but sometimes you think folk just got a show because they look good, you know what I'm saying? But let me interview 12.
first time that I'd ever like been a part of that, where it's like, what do you mean? We just had a whole conversation and that was online?
Oh no,
and people saw that, and I thought like that stuff should come with a warning for an old lady.
I would never. Well, the thing is, if you see a guy with a big camera like that, I hope you got to know the camera's on.
So that's the rule right there. Are you streaming right now? We don't even know.
It don't even matter.
I know.
If a camera on, it's all the same.
It is. So the flag football game is tonight. You've got some legends coaching you.
Yeah.
Steve Young, Michael Vick. But these aren't like, do you know them? Like, what's your relationship with them? Because it's not like it's the first time hanging out with them.
Well, Mike Vick, I talk to him often, and I talk to him a lot during this year, just about everything. And he always been a great resource for me.
Huh.
In a great way, just to have somebody to talk to.
What do you talk to him about? How often? Like every week?
No, not every week. Like, I talk to people when it feels like it's right to talk to them.
Okay.
You know, like based on everybody is living their own individual life. They have their own problems, everything they got to do. So it's like, if I know your experience in this area, then I want to call and get advice. Like, how do I handle certain things? Like, where does my mind need to go to? Like, how do I navigate life? Because all it is a game of life. Everybody playing it, but just in different roles and different everything.
What's the best advice he's given you?
Look here. Look here. That was power. It's a game of life. It's a game of life.
Michael Vick.
That was powerful.
But it's still got to feel special. My question is, though, have you managed to sneak in any Twitch streaming while you're in the Bay yet so far? Are you streaming right now?
No, so you got to understand, like, everybody has, like, in the family, everybody has, like, their roles, you know?
Okay.
So it's like Shiloh gets more on the Twitch, and he brings that side out of me of, like, of that. It's just everybody dynamics different.
At Panini Rookie Premiere,
everybody has like a piece of the pie.
So what's your piece of the pie?
My piece of the pie is like I open up more like when family's around.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know who you had with you at Rookie Premiere, but it was I call it like an attack. Like you were streaming and didn't tell me. And it was my first time that I'd ever like been a part of that, where it's like, what do you mean? We just had a whole conversation and that was online?
Oh no!
And people saw that, and I thought like that stuff should come with a warning for an old lady.
I would never. Well, the thing is, if you see a guy with a big camera like that, I hope you got to know the camera's on.
So that's the rule right there. Are you streaming right now? We don't even know.
It don't even matter.
I know.
If a camera on, it's all the same.
It is. So the flag football game is tonight. You've got some legends coaching you.
Yeah.
Steve Young, Michael Vick. But these aren't like, do you know them? Like, what's your relationship with them? Because it's not like it's the first time hanging out with them.
Well, Mike Vick, I talk to him often, and I talk to him a lot during this year, just about everything. And he always been a great resource for me.
Huh.
in a great way just to have somebody to talk to.
What do you talk to him about? How often? Like every week?
No, not every week. Like I talk to people when it feels like it's right to talk to them.
Okay.
You know, like based on everybody is living their own individual life. They have their own problems, everything they got to do. So it's like if I know your experience in this area, then I want to call and get advice. Like how do I handle certain things? Like where does my mind need to go to? Like how do I navigate life? Because all it is a game of life. Everybody playing it, but just in different roles and different everything.
What's the best advice he's given you, Michael Vick?
It's been a lot. I can't tell you off the top of my head because a lot of different advice has been given to me, and I understand that, and I think on it and I dwell on it and I apply it. So then I really don't know where it came from.
Because you asked that you really reach out to that many people. Like it sounds like you're constantly wanting to be your best.
Because
right?
I want to learn.
Yeah.
I want to learn almost everything you can learn almost in life. Like when it comes to a lot, because every life and everything's about perspectives, and it's like he lived his life when it comes to like being an NFL quarterback, and it's like nothing is new under the sun.
I talked to.
This why I don't understand how these media, this asinine Cleveland media. I don't know if that's the even way to work, right way to use that word anyway. The horrible Cleveland media keep talking about how he not gonna get better. The man is sitting here and want to learn from experiences from the other black quarterbacks, the other quarterbacks that been in the league, man. Like for somebody that's like that, that means they want to get better in every aspect, just not on the field, but off the field too. They want to get better in every aspect of their life. Like you can't be against somebody that think like that, even if they ain't the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns.
Joe Flacco this week, and I asked him about you and what that was like in Cleveland, and he really just went straight to your confidence, which is kind of like maybe almost like an eye roll to people because like everyone knows you're confident. Everyone knows that you have that. Has your confidence level changed at all throughout your rookie year? Are you the same sky high confident guy, more or less? Have you had any? I'm always
the same. I think obviously when you don't play and when you just trying to just figure it out, then I think that's why I think something can brew a little bit. But then whenever you're getting back to feeling like normal, like whenever I feel like me, then everything works out. Everything works out.
Can I know when you feel the most you when it comes to football? Like, is there like, if I'm watching, like, when will I know like he's in his bag, he feels the most him?
I mean, you can see it. So it's kind of like mastering how to get to that place all the time. You have flashes. That's the most thing I appreciate about this year is I proved to myself I'm able to dominate the league. But I'm able to take completions. I'm able to put all that together, and definitely in games and stuff we have flashes. But I know I'm capable of doing that. Now, to do it on a consistent basis, that's what the goal is. But for me in this past season, that's what proved to myself that, okay, you like no matter what happened, no matter anything that transpired, you are able to go out there and compete, and you are able, like, you got to speak life within yourself, because I don't know, a lot of situations, a lot of this would have killed a lot of people, you know, like it definitely would have killed a lot of people. So you just got to view things a little different, you know, and what worked for you last year when it come to mentally and when it come to understanding things, it's not going to work this year because it's different set of circumstances. Like I can't use the same recipe of success that I used in Colorado now, because the dynamic and the situation, everything's different. So that's when you got to reach out to resources. That's when you got to peel back and understand, okay, this is the task at hand. This is what I got to do. And how can I get advice on how to do it?
It's like short-term.
Man, how can you not like Shedeur? I told y'all he said it. And I've been saying it. Ain't nobody could have went through this situation but him. Cam Ward couldn't have did this. And it ain't, and all it is, he been patient. And he done grew and still growing from this whole situation. He always gonna remember what happened. And then in the back of your head, when you remember what happened, you ain't gonna want to go back there. So what's gonna happen when you don't want to go back there? You're gonna work even harder and you're gonna make sure you don't go back there. So I don't see how in the world the Cleveland media keep talking about that he can't get better. He ain't the guy. He ain't this. What we seen this. Man, you ain't seen nothing yet. Like that what baffles me, man. I'm telling you, these folks is ridiculous, boy. The Cleveland media is horrible.
Goals with like a long-term goal in mind, it sounds like. Then that long-term goal is dominating, but also being consistent.
Yeah.
Which I love hearing. You're so thoughtful. You really are so introspective. You had to wait. You've never had to wait. 12 weeks, you had to wait. Maybe even longer if you can, however you consider it. If you look back now and you're sitting on this couch, you're a Pro Bowler tonight, you wrapped up your first season. What's the result of that waiting, that moment, like that time? What did you learn? How did that affect you?
I mean, it's a lot, and I love your questions because you give me a lot of questions with depth, and it makes me think and get there. But you have a lot of different feelings. You have a lot of different feelings, but feelings are temporary, you know? So you can't act on feelings majority of the time. You got to act on knowledge, or you got to act on common sense and experience. Even though I don't have the experience, but I have resources that I'm thankful to have, so I could ask those people so I could get at least half of the experience. You know what I'm saying? That's what being a vet is. You being a vet in life. So you talking through Joe Flacco about different situations or how he felt. He told us a story about something that happened in his, first game ever. That was like very embarrassing. And it was like, dang, that's cool. So it's like, whatever happens, you know, it's like you able to push through it and you able to get through it,
but
and be able to see the other side.
Did you learn something about, like, I want to know about that waiting, like, if you go back and you
I learned a different aspect of life.
Did it suck? Like, do you wish you never had to wait? Do you think the waiting helped you, or did it hurt you? Nothing.
Because everything in life, it has to happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's based off the decisions you make. So it has to happen. If I needed that so I could learn different things in life, then put me through that.
I guess that's what I'm asking you. What did you learn? Because the GOATs waited behind other quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but it's not just about football, though. It's more about life. Like,
so what
football is a game, but it's more about the game of life, though. You know? So it's like, if you're in an uncomfortable situation, which a lot of everybody is pretty much in that in life, you know, then what are you going to do? Are you going to complain? Are you going to feel some type of way? Are you going to lean on, if it's something, you're not going to always be prepared for every aspect of life, but it's like, what is your foundation? What is your rules? What are your standards you're going to live
and
by?
how much are you taking advantage of the resources you have, which is what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's pointless to have resources and not be able to talk to them. So, like, I definitely soak up all the knowledge.
You're not using the word adaptability, but that's kind of what you're saying, right? Like you said, like last year's rules or what you did at Colorado isn't going to help you here. Maybe what happened last year isn't. No. I mean, you have to adapt.
Yeah,
you have to grow.
I'm not going to say it's not going to help, but you have to go in a different. You have to view things differently, and what it may take some different.
Yeah, and now you've got a new guy in charge.
Yeah.
So what, have you talked to Todd Monken?
Yeah.
You have?
Coach Monken's, he's real cool.
Tell me about that.
It was cool.
Where's she been at the last couple of days, the last week? Don't make no sense. Then she had that question about waiting. He practiced patience. He just told you it was a learning lesson. He had to go through it. To get to the point the way he at now, he had to go through it. Like I told y'all, let me go on my little rant for a minute. I know y'all can't see 12. But like I told y'all, that no don't mean it ain't meant. That yes, that you didn't get, or that no you got, don't mean it ain't for you. You just got to find a different way, or you just got to be patient until, not your plan, but God's plan. But like he said, he had to go through that to get the way he at now, to learn the lesson. And I like what he said about them resources, that he can get at least half the experience. So they're telling me he using and talking to the folk that he know that might have been through this, so he won't have to go through it. So now you cutting time off of that. I ain't got to go through that experience because I done talked to such and such, and they done told me what not to do. So I ain't got to do that. I'm going to do the opposite. They told me what to do, and they told me what not to do. So now I ain't got to experience that or waste my time with that. Now I can move forward and get to the destination faster.
We had a brief interaction, honestly, but I know the fact that I have this mindset that I'm in and this mind frame that I'm in, I'm able to handle pretty much anything, you know. So I'm just thankful to be here. You know, I'm thankful to have Coach Monken and being able to connect with him and get his perspective of ball and see how he sees the game. So I want to do everything I want to do the same, but I want to take it a little deeper. I want to go with more depth.
He's reportedly said this morning that your role is to be determined.
Say it one more time.
Todd Monken said this morning that your role is TBD, to be determined.
Mm-hmm.
What's your reaction to that? What does that mean to you when you hear that?
I mean, that's what's expected. You know, that's what's expected. I think each and every day I have to prove to everybody and to myself also. So it's kind of like having goals and accomplishing those goals, whether it's small goals, and the small goals will end up to long-term success. So it's kind of like just hit your landmarks on what you need to do. Focus more in depth on everything on what you want to, and just be in control of your life and what you can't control.
Beautifully said, and exactly where you need to have your eye and your mind and everything that is working for you. I want to talk about your deep ball, because you got that you know, the fans love that. You showed that this year. You finished with the most yards gained per pass completion among rookies, ahead of anybody else. Was there any kind of trash talk, if you look at this list right here? Any kind of trash talk, you know, with this guy? It's like, well, let's take a look at that. What do you think? What do you make of this group? I mean, that's a pretty impressive statistic. You proud of that?
Yeah. I know what I'm capable of. I just gotta like continue to show it on each level. So it's like that stuff doesn't really, I mean, it's just like affirmation kind of, but it's like, that's gonna come with it.
I'm hosting the YouTube flag on Saturday night, flag football. Your dad's coaching.
Yeah.
What do I need to know? What do you want to say to the I don't even know who's on his team yet, but what do you want to say to them to prepare them for Coach Sanders?
Don't wear ankle socks.
Why?
You don't like that.
He doesn't like ankle socks?
Not if you're on a football field, no.
Okay, do not wear ankle socks. That's good advice. He recently leaked a new Nike shoe line coming out. And I noticed some had your logo, legendary, on the back heel. I know that you've teased a shoe line through the years. What is that face? Anything you'd like to tell me?
No, I don't really have nothing right now, honestly. I'm excited for the future. And I think everything is aligned. I think everything has purpose, and everything's about timing, perfect timing. Like, it's just ironic, that's my song. But everything's about like the timing of it. So
signature shoe line, Diamond Turf in the works, potentially in the future.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
They focus on that. I gotta focus on
yes,
getting the main thing.
One last one for you. Myles Garrett set the media world on fire with a trade request. There's still rumors that are lingered. What's your relationship like with Myles, and how important is he to your 2026?
Yeah, I appreciate Myles a lot. He's just you want to always gain his respect. Like that's somebody like for the first time, like I'm like, dang, I gotta do everything I can, you know, on the field and just be the same person every day, and whether weight room, everything, like to earn his respect.
You work harder for him, kind of, right? You want it for him?
Like he's definitely one of our leaders, and like he just lead in different ways. Like Myles don't gotta always talk about anything. Like his actions are loud. The way how he goes about his work is loud. His results are loud. So it's like you kind of look at the recipe that he uses and all these different great players use. That's what just being here talking to those players about is like just building those relationships. And at any time, if I ever need them, I know they'll be able to answer the phone and I'll be able to talk to them. But Miles, he's somebody that you definitely want to gain his respect. And do I feel like I accomplished that? I don't know. But it's just going to continue to make me work harder.
What do you mean you don't know? How do you do that then? I think you're a big part of him staying committed to Cleveland. I'd like to, I'm sure he's sort of demanding that out of you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of high expectations for myself also. And you gotta, and I'm thankful for this year. This was a building year. It was a building year. There's a lot of great lessons to learn and everything. But was it up to my expectations? Probably not. But I look at it in that light, so you always have something to work for. Even when you do, even when you do have great years and great games and everything like that, you still have stuff to work on to be flawless. But it's more about I wanna just take a different approach and really have him be able to count on me.
You're so thoughtful. I have no doubt that you're going to do everything that you need to do it in your power, using all your resources, working hard to get there. I'm so happy to see you.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see you here at Super Bowl, where you'll hopefully be playing one year.
Yeah.
And go crush it in the Pro Bowl.
Yes.
Get that arm ready. Let's go, Shedeur.
I'm definitely warming up.
Shedeur Sanders here. Good luck in the Pro Bowl tonight. We'll be back after this.
Thank you.
I'll tell you one thing. I like them answers. Now, I know y'all don't like whatever she was saying, whatever. I was listening to Mo to how he was responding, and I like how he was processing and thinking before he answered, because anybody can say anything or dodge the question. So yeah. But yeah, so I like them answers. Ain't too much to say. I mean, that's what I expected though, but you know what I'm saying? A lot of people, some of these haters and these trolls need to watch that and listen to his answers. That's what they need to do. Stop assuming and spreading their hate when you don't even know somebody. That's crazy. Yeah, so you want it. I ain't gonna say all that. Come on, bro. See what I'm talking about? That's what I'm talking about. It was no need for none of that. But these folk here, what I about to go to, I need to get off. I've been on too long. This long as I've been on live with y'all. But I mean, consistent with the numbers. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Everything I done heard from Todd Monken, from Andrew Berry first getting up to Todd Monken. That's what I was gonna show y'all. Todd Monken first getting, Andrew Berry first getting up to Todd Monken, to Jimmy Haslam, back to Andrew Berry, Joe Flacco, then Shedeur just then. Like I like everything I done heard, man. This energy in Cleveland, it done changed, man. Like this, as far as the organization, this team and energy is positive. Now the media is still negative, but the team, Andrew Berry, Jimmy Haslam, Shedeur, Todd Monken, they positive. They all positive. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna resonate and get infectious throughout the team, man. That's what you need, especially if you want to change their franchise around, especially in the first year. But the longevity and build a winning culture and a positive culture. And then everything else gonna fall into play. The media, they'll turn around after they see what's going on, because they ain't got to be in the building. You're gonna have naysayers regardless of what level you on. You know what I'm saying? Folk gonna be jealous, folk gonna be lying, coming up with stuff and all that type of stuff. But I see a change, a positive change.
Coming out of 20.
Andrew Berry right before Todd Monken got up.
Coming out of 2025, the first thing we wanted to do is say, okay, like where are we from a team standpoint? Where are we from a roster standpoint? And we looked at it and we said, hey, we're coming out of 2025. We have the 8th youngest defense in terms of experience, a group that's very complete at all 3 levels and that we feel really good about. On the offensive side of the ball, we looked and we felt like we had a number of young, pillar cornerstone pieces, but we envision a world where that side of the ball is going to have pretty significant turnover over the next several months. And then from a resource standpoint, we looked at the team and said, we're flush with, draft resources entering this offseason, as well as the appropriate amount of flexibility from a financial perspective. So as we looked at everything and we thought about what we needed from, our head coach, particularly in this phase, the first thing we actually looked at is we wanted someone who could lead, develop, and grow a young team. Because quite frankly, we're probably going to be, if not the youngest, one of the youngest teams in football in 2026. The second thing that we wanted, certainly in the short term, was a coach, didn't matter the background, that had a very strong and adaptable offensive plan, given the amount of turnover we're going to have on that side of the ball, both in terms of personnel, scheme, you name it. In addition to that very specific problem, we were looking at individuals that had 4 key attributes. The first is something that we categorize as global intelligence. So that's not just cognitive ability or IQ, that's EQ and football acumen as well. The second is something that we term CEO leadership. So that's someone who has the ability to function at what we would call 30,000 feet, as well as the tactical level at ground level. The third, we wanted someone who had a demonstrated track record of innovation where they've been. And then the fourth, we wanted someone who had the characteristics of collaboration, given the head coaching position touches so many different areas in football operations in the modern day game. So what we did to assess, all of those characteristics with many of the fine coaches we met with, we looked at their performance track record, where they've been throughout all their career, how their units have done. We did a number of reference calls throughout people who had been in direct working relationship with the candidates throughout all stops of their career. We did testing, we did work samples, and we also did the interview. And we combined all of that information to make a good decision about who would serve us best, who would serve the organization best with the problem that we're trying to attack with where our team is currently. And when we did that, Todd stood head and shoulders above the rest. Todd's like really, really, really unique. If you look at his history, his career history, this is a coach who has had high-level, innovative, adaptable offenses at both the pro and college level. Doesn't matter the personnel, didn't matter the quarterbacks, didn't matter what he inherited. He always found a way to have, high-level and productive units. It became very apparent in everybody that we talked to about Todd how strong he was working and developing with young players. I think that's one of the beauties of Todd's experience is he does have pro and college experience as a coach, and that transfers in terms of how he leads and grows young players. The third, the mentors that he's worked for, most recently Kirby Smart and John Harbaugh, arguably the best in the business in pro and college, and the lessons that Todd has learned and applied from those coaches has been outstanding. And then the last thing is he understands the job. I mean, the work that he did at Southern Miss, inheriting a program at its historical nadir, turning it around with few resources, shows he has like the leadership, the gumption, and the resourcefulness to do this job at any level. So for us, we felt like he fit us like a glove. And we are so excited to have him and his family in Cleveland. I guess I should say back to Cleveland, Todd. But we're really stoked to have him. And so
I like what he said. I know I ain't doing it at the beginning, but like the young core pieces on the offense, and they're gonna have a lot of turnover on the offensive side. The flexibility, it would surprise me when I ain't catch the first time. Flexibility financially. That got to be part of that Deshaun Watson insurance he talking about, and whatever else moves they about to make. Because how we looking and what I seen, it wasn't no flexibility yet. But Andrew Berry, the GM, he know how to work them numbers and what he got to do to create more cap space. So they might end up signing a bigger time free agent in the receiver position. That's what I'm expecting, or the offensive line position, or both. They might make some big splashes in the free agency if they can throw some money around, and then that might even change up how they look at Deshaun Watson, if he's still gonna be on the roster or they feel like they can move him or not. But I don't know. We're gonna see. And they were looking for a coach with a strong adaptability offensive plan, a strong and adaptable offensive plan. That means personnel and scheme. And then that was a big thing Jimmy Haslam had said too, and Todd Monken had said it. And then when they went through the process, he said they wasn't looking just for the IQ. They were looking for global intelligence. I ain't never heard that. Global intelligence. Just not IQ, but EQ. This is some Harvard stuff right there. I don't know if y'all ever heard that, but I ain't never heard that. About no global intelligence and EQ and have football acumen. That's what he said. And then they also were looking for a CEO leadership. He said at 30,000 feet and at ground level. That shook me. That I know it might be a metaphor, but this man talking got me thinking, wait a minute. This outside the box interviewing and looking for a coach, a CEO leadership at 30,000 feet and at ground level. So that means you can lead. This is basically what he's saying. This is how I'm interpreting it. It's just my opinion. He's saying, if we start winning, can you lead, have that same type of leadership at the top when we winning, going towards the Super Bowl? And can you lead and have that same leadership we at the bottom on the ground level when we struggling, when we building it? Can you have the same type leadership on each end? That's powerful. And then he said they were looking at the good track record. He used another word, but I just said good track record and the collaboration, have a good collaboration for the coaching staff and the front office. I think they nailed it. Like you said, I think Todd Monken fit like a glove. And what Todd said, I like it. I like everything. Like I said, I'm telling you again, I like everything I done heard, man. From Andrew Barrett, Jimmy Haslam, Todd Monken, and Shedeur. Like they're positive, it's positive. Everything they said was positive, and the change. And one of y'all said, that change come, then everything else gonna change. There it is, Jody right there said it on X. The media is like that because they have allowed them to be that way. Change brings on more change. I like that. Because that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's time for a change, and they done been Mary Kay, Tony G. They asking them asinine questions, them buffoonery questions, them dumb questions. They asking them because they been getting away with it. And ain't nobody checked them on them. But Todd Monken done checked them on it. Jimmy Haslam checking them on it now. Andrew Barry, they still answering it. But I think Todd Monken gonna put them in their play. That's why I said I think their career was over. That's why I said that early. But I'm about to go ahead and get all this thing. I've been on the thing almost 3 hours. But yeah, it was a good live here. It was a real good live, man. We done learned a lot. We done learned a lot. We done seen a lot. And I'll probably be back on here tomorrow because, they already putting out stuff. 92.3 The Fan, ESPN, Cleveland. They're going to be talking about all this. So we're going to react to some of that. What these haters, this negative Cleveland media got to say, what Mary Kay going to say, and what Tony G going to say. Because I know they about to put something on Twitter and all that too. So, they're going to write their little articles so they can get some clicks. But, yeah, I think, and then, like I told y'all, come back. When we go live, we're going to go live again for the Pro Bowl. And we're going to be right back here. So I need y'all to go ahead and subscribe to Money Man. You already know. Don't forget, a Savage and Terry, the couple channel. We still doing big things over there. We're trying to get that thing together. Renewed gospel for all your gospel needs. If you want to get a little spirit in you, or you want a little shout around the house a little bit, you want to take it to your church and have them play it over the loudspeaker. If you do that, just tell them where you found it at Renewed Gospel and tell them to go sub so they can do the same thing and tell somebody else. Well, yeah. And then, we got Brown Time Opulence, the stock and crypto channel coming. I'll let y'all keep y'all updated on that. I'm still about to make a video, but I ended up getting sick these last couple of days, and I ain't going to say it pushed me back, but it took me away from doing some certain stuff because I wasn't feeling good, but I'm getting back better. And then also, what I'm missing, follow me on TikTok, The Prime Effect. I'm still thinking about doing a giveaway at 25,000 followers now on TikTok. And then on X, I might be doing a giveaway if I hit 500 followers. I ain't really putting that out on neither one of them yet because I'm still debating, depending on how my money look. But yeah, album for Renewed Gospel coming out February 17th. I'm gonna keep that same date. Be ready for that. On the lookout for that on the Money Man You Already Know music channel. If you ain't over there, you need to go subscribe to that one too. I'll let y'all know about that. But I ain't even got an album cover yet, but I got some bangers that I'm about to release on that thing, and we're gonna drop music videos and everything on Renewed Gospel for them songs. But I need y'all to go subscribe over there. And if your pocket feeling heavy and you want to lighten it, the Cash App down there, Savage AL21, Money Man You Already Know, right here, and y'all already know what time it is. Appreciate y'all.
Talk to me, Lord. If you brought me to it, you walk me through it. Amen.